McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Wednesday, February 24th, 2021, years after zero. Today's a big day in sports. We'll talk about it all. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop right there. Tiger Woods is successfully out of surgery after a scary accident yesterday morning around 7:18 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. By the time of 7:28, the fire department was there with not the Jaws of Life as originally reported, actually a pry bar which is nicknamed Hell in a Tube or something like that. The fire chief Osby and the sheriff gave a full press conference yesterday about the scene and what they did. They said they investigated. They didn't see there was any intoxication, which was the media's first 10 questions, basically, because a lot of people's minds kind of went into a place yesterday when seeing this happen where there seemed to be no skid marks. The accident seemed to be rather wild. He had a car incident in the past that we just watched a documentary on HBO about. So I think a lot of people maybe feared for the absolute worst, not only personally, but physically for Tiger as they saw the accident and what happened. Yesterday during that press conference, some things got cleared up. I guess we learned more and more that he was in a rush. He potentially had a golf tutor session happening with Drew Brees and Justin Herbert with his duties with the Genesis Invitational and Golf Digest and his sponsors and everything like that. He suffered a shattered ankle and had 2 leg fractures. Out of that press conference yesterday, we learned, by the way the media was asking questions about it. Hey, man, listen, geez. Now, the sheriff, unbelievable, spoke English and Spanish yesterday, was answering questions in both, had a very cool, calm sense about him. The fire chief, Osby, I believe is his name, incredibly cool guy. Now, you got to remember, firefighters and police, 2 very different people, okay? Firefighters normally beloved by everybody because they're always there to save things, okay? Yeah, we're here to save building, people, cats, whatever. Cops not always on the positive side. Sometimes some bad shit happens with the cops and what they're being on. So firefighters normally, like, I have an uncle that's just retired as a fire chief in Pittsburgh. Congrats on a hell of a run. Uncle Owen, my cousin Owen is a firefighter. So, like, I understand the way they handled that media yesterday was beautiful. Okay, but it's Tiger fucking Woods in a massive situation out of nowhere. So the questions that the media were asking the chief and the sheriff were, I mean, you were watching these media people and why they go to school, the way they frame their questions and set up their questions. And this sheriff, this fire chief, and they even had the deputy that was the first on the scene answer some questions, handled it beautifully, but they did give up information that they probably weren't supposed to because the way the media were kind of phrasing these questions. For instance, I don't remember if it was the sheriff or the first deputy on the scene. I believe it was the first deputy on the scene who he said that he got there because a neighbor called 911 because 50 feet or 20 feet away from where he crashed, there is actually houses about up on an awning that would have heard this entire thing. So he's the first to respond. He says, sir, what is your name? He says, Tiger. And he said, I immediately was like, oh, Tiger, that's Tiger Woods right there. Oh, my God. Asked him some questions if he knew where he was and everything like that. He was the one, by the way, that relayed the message that he did not, to the sheriff and everybody else, that he did not believe there was any impairment from talking to him. There was no smell of anything. It did not seem like he was completely out of it. He was lucid and something else in this whole thing. But the way this media lady asked this question, I mean, a piece of art. There were reports that, because they asked, what did he say, how the conversation go? And they're like, well, we can't talk about that right now. And was there anything, like, we're doing the investigation. So they were answering that it was Tiger. They took him to the hospital. They did not use the Jaws of Life and everything like that. I mean, they're trying to give away no other information because there's a full investigation going on. Anything they say right now could potentially fuck them over in the future. But the media's job is to get information out wherever the way this lady framed this question, she goes, there was a report that Tiger Woods stood and walked out of his car. Is that true or not true? It's like, that was never reported. I don't what. But she put deputy in a pretzel where he had to address the question that was. He goes, that was not true. He was not able to walk or whatever. So then everybody was like, oh my God, is Tiger Woods potentially going to be paralyzed? Is he going to have to get a leg amputated? You look at the car, the thing was fucking just, the front end was completely gone. He sawed down an 8-inch wide tree, they said, with his car, hit a median, jumped off of that, hit a curb, hit a tree, sawed through the tree, hit a pole, spun down there, and ended up down in this ravine or whatever, and the whole thing. So whenever these answers are coming out, and he's like, the first thing was he had to get surgery on severe leg injury. Then it came out when numerous more questions were asked in a thoughtful way. He was like, both legs actually had severe injuries. It's like, okay, so now both legs are severe. He wasn't able to walk. They had to extricate him from the vehicle is what they said. It's like, is Tiger Woods potentially never going to be able to walk again? This morning we're getting up there. Last night we got updates. Shattered ankle, severe injuries to both legs, successful surgery. I guess he has something coming up with his back. I am someone that believes he's going to win another fucking golf tournament after this entire thing. And it's going to be an amazing, amazing story. I woke up this morning just as more information continues to be, I tweeted that Tiger information is rolling out right now. And the internet was like, that's a terrible way to phrase it. I was like, I did not fucking mean that. I meant like, come on. So I actually deleted that tweet because I didn't want people to think that I was being clever. I was not being clever. I was just talking about the information. As more and more rolls out here, feels like Tiger's probably going to golf again. If I had to guess, he's probably going to win again. And I hope that this never happens again. Happy to hear he's okay. Everybody's worst nightmares, from what we've been told thus far, are not true. So big shout out to Eldrick Tiger Woods. Happy you're going to be all right. Yeah. I mean, you scared the shit out of us, bub. Uh-huh. You're one of our goats, pal. Hey, you're one of the best that we've ever seen in the sports world. Can't be losing you. Happy to hear that we're not going to do that. Ben Roethlisberger is going to be back with the Pittsburgh Steelers, allegedly. Both the Steelers came out and said that, and Ben Roethlisberger's agent came out and said that. Drew Brees, there's an interesting article on ESPN that was estimated 42-minute read, so I didn't fucking read that, but I think Ty is currently reading that while he's battling through. He'll be sending updates about the NFLPA, and Drew Brees' name gets mentioned in there. And Drew Brees not just being talked about in that particular article, a lot of other different articles too about whether or not Drew Brees is going to retire. Duvie Kleiman, who is an incredible internet source collector, just information finder in the NFL, he put out a stat that Drew Brees' last game, his passer rating was lower than if he was to just take every single snap and throw it into the ground. So his last, if he was just to take every single snap and throw it directly into the dirt, he would have had a higher passer rating than what he had in his last ever game. So Duvie Kleiman is potentially stating that there is maybe call that Drew Brees is like, I ain't going out like that. That can't be how I go out. But with the Saints having to move forward potentially, if not Drew Brees, I hope this one unfolds faster than it did last year because there was a lot of questioning last year and everything that happened in the offseason with that whole thing. But now we're 38 days into this thing. Drew Brees has not said he's going to retire. Who will be the quarterback for the Saints next year? I guess at this point, we just have to assume it's Drew. But if Drew continues to string him along and they get fucked over, that would be awesome. Yeah. That would be absolutely awesome to kind of watch unfold. Cam Newton said a lot of things in the I Am Athlete podcast, which I am a massive fan of that show. They do a great job down there. Shout out to Brandon Marshall, Ocho, Fred is part of that. I think Reggie was a part of the first couple episodes down, Reggie Wayne. Cam Newton came on there, and basically everything he said was clippable. I mean, everything about it. He ain't going out like that. He knows there isn't 32 guys better than him. Bill Belichick, he absolutely loves him. It's all very good news. Connor was dancing about this as this came out because this maybe makes it easier for free agents or players to want to go do the Patriot way because they've heard from Cam Newton that Bill Belichick's a cool guy. Who knows how that'll play out? Who knows where Cam Newton's headed? We'll have to talk about that. Jason Light, Bucs general manager, who has a lot on his plate right now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, potentially beginning a dynasty. He says that an extension for Tom Brady is possible. Remember, Tom Brady signed a 2-year deal at the beginning of the season, $50 million. Then in the middle of the season or something, or maybe just a couple months ago, maybe it was Super Bowl week, I don't remember exactly when it was, he said that 45, like he sees himself playing or whatever. And then we look up, who was it? Blanda played until he was 48.
George.
Played until he's 48 years old or something. We have photos of Blanda and him playing in there. And you think with Tom Brady's TB12 treatment, literally being that you can find the fountain of youth with pliability in the way you take care of your body. I would assume at this particular point, with the way Tom played, how he played last year, how he looks, how much more healthy he looks than even his first 5 years in the NFL, I would assume that being the oldest quarterback to ever play in the NFL is potentially something that the TB12 treatment would like to have under their marketing plan going forward. And he's the greatest of all time already, playing the longest, winning the most. I mean, that is something pretty cool. I assume Tom Brady would absolutely love. If he signs an extension with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for 30 mil or something for a couple more years and just keeps going, everybody on earth in Tampa would be like, good move. Good move. This is good. Let's keep it down here. Drew Brees is waiting here to retire, and everybody's like, well, this motherfucker make up his mind. I mean, isn't that a very interesting thing? Tom Brady, at the age of 43 or whatever, they're like, sign him to however long this song. Give him a 5-year deal if he wants to. Do whatever you got to do. And with Drew now, the whole world is like, is he playing or is he not? And the Drew Brees, Tom Brady thing is something that records are kind of going back and forth. It feels like at this point, all signs are pointing to Tom's going to play probably 4 more years than Drew Brees will, which is wild to think about. 1-888-MAD-DOG-6. We want your phone calls. We can't wait to chat with you here on SiriusXM Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. We have Nashi Harris joining us in about 11 minutes. Running back of Alabama, formerly Doak Walker Award winner, going to be a first-round draft pick. Cannot wait to chat with him about his life right now. How's training going? Hey, who do you like better, Tua or Mac Jones?
Ooh, I wonder.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ask about Devontae getting asked that, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, how do you feel about Devontae getting asked by a team and then that team releasing that fucking information to the media to put Devontae in a terrible spot with real-life friends? But, hey, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Who cares about Devontae?
Not me.
Catch the ball, dude. And aside from that, we don't really have much going on except for Eddie Olczyk joining us in the third hour, talking about a little bit of hockey. Shinigami was supposed to join us today.
What?
Well, potentially was going to join us. Street Beef's legend. Shout out Rachel. Let's do this.
Shout out.
Leg kick. He has a massive fight actually coming up either this weekend or next weekend with Street Beefs. He's fighting the East Coast OG Street Beefs heavyweight champ Big Smile.
Oh, geez.
And I don't know if that's this weekend or next weekend. Shinigami has training today during this show. Tomorrow, though, he will be joining us at about 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Cannot wait to chat with Shinigami.
Go. Remember your training?
If you don't know who Shinigami is or what Street Beefs is, I just learned about him a couple days ago. Okay, it's not like I'm super advanced and know a lot about it, learn more than you. But go ahead and get in that rabbit hole if you would like on the internet. It is a fantastic. Put the guns down. Put the fists up. Ooh. Street Beefs. Let's fucking go for it. Atone Diggs, Ben Roethlisberger is going to be your quarterback next year. A lot of people in Pittsburgh seem to be kind of having mixed emotions about this. You are absolutely obsessed with this move. You love everything about it.
Yeah, I don't know why people are so upset if you're a Steelers fan potentially. I mean, I watched every single snap that last year, and I don't think Ben was the issue at all. They had a 30-second run game. The O-line stunk. They had a junior varsity offensive coordinator. When Ben called plays, the offense was fine. I mean, he was still slinging it around. Did his arm deteriorate a little bit? Yeah, but he's not Drew Brees, who we started on this thing 4 years ago that his arm was dead. I just don't see who that you could get, like, that would be better or give you a better chance to win next year than Ben Roethlisberger, especially if he's going to get his salary down to some $27 million. That's around where Tom is. I'm not saying Ben's is at Tom's level.
But got it.
Tom's cap hit is 28 this year.
Really? How come?
I don't know. His cash is 25, but his cap hit's 28. I was just looking at it. So Ben's
because he's won so many Super Bowls.
Ben's
like, well,
below.
if you're going to pay this guy.
Ben would be below him, below Goff, below Garoppolo, right around where like Carson Wentz, Garoppolo's at. So like, I mean, I just don't see.
Who's the better option?
Correct.
Dewey Haskins.
Yep.
Yeah. He's potentially sitting in the wait to be the Steelers' future. People are saying that the Steelers should potentially think about either drafting Nashi Harris, the running back that is joining us here in about 8 minutes because the run game was so bad last year. Now, was that James Conner's fault? Was that Benny Snell's fault? Was that the play strategy fault? potentially, maybe also the running back. So they bring a new offense coordinator, but he's hired from within, right? So it's basically the same goddamn thing. So maybe a new running back would be a thing. But a lot of people in Pittsburgh are like, we're going to have to think about this quarterback position going further. You got Ben on a new elbow. What if he comes out and plays his best football next year and wants an extension just like Tom? Could happen. Nobody knows. I like to hear that there are Steelers fans, though, who have realized, like, is there a better option than Ben Roethlisberger right now?
I mean, yeah, like, imagine if this would have happened. Say they would have like said, "Hey, Ben's coming back after week 11." Everyone would be like, "Okay, cool, 11-0, that makes sense." The end of the season was so terrible that's why it's being questioned at all. I just hope we could get the first 11 weeks versus the last.
Steelers are a bit dramatic, it seems like, but whenever you're winning games and you're in a spotlight and in a fishbowl, that stuff's going to happen. Juju wants to be a Pittsburgh Steeler for life. Yes. Bringing back Ben Roethlisberger means Juju probably going to be back as well. Those two kind of come together as a pair. Let's go, Juju. Juju, Corvette, do what you got to do, Juju. He's potentially coming back. Steelers can't wait to keep an eye on that over the next couple of weeks. They're going to have to restructure Roethlisberger's contract. Both sides have agreed that we get creative with this thing. Let's just go ahead and play football. Ben's already made enough money, and he's right with the Lord. What is really more money into his bank account when he can fill those with potentially Christ chips?
He does have to give his tenth to the
tithes.
Tithes.
So you lower the contract, you lower your tithes potentially. So maybe he's thinking long term, I've already given enough to the Lord. But has the Lord given him enough in return? I would assume he thinks in abundance. We will find out.
Ben's always got one more round in him.
He does. Yeah. He's had a lot in the chamber for a long time. We'll see how he goes going forward. Diggs, I see you with all your Tiger Woods stuff on, by the way. Shout out you, dude.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, just someone who has given us so much over the years. Might as well support him in his day of need.
Hey, now, I'm going to point a lot of fingers here, okay? A lot of people immediately assumed Tiger got back into, the demons that he was potentially battling back in the day when something like this happens. When any accident like this happens, you automatically assume the driver, whether it's Tiger Woods or if it's Connor or if it's Live PD, whatever. Whoever's in there, you automatically assume, like, how is that possible for happening without there? It is really nice to hear that was not a part of it. From, like, the sheriff, the deputy, and the fire chief. It seemed like they were all like, no, that is not the... But how did it happen then? He was in a rush, I guess. He lifted up over a median, which a median wasn't just like sand, though. It wasn't really like a lifted thing. Then he hit a curb. He flipped. I'll be intrigued to see how it all plays out. They asked him if he was on his phone. They're like, well, we'll investigate. We'll see if that's the case. And I don't know how they're going to be able to investigate that, by the way. I'm not 100% sure how they... I've thought about that before as I saw somebody else on their phone. Not me, but somebody else on their phone. Like, do they know if that person sent the text an eighth of a second before getting in an accident, or was it, you know what I mean? Because I feel like people's interactions on their phones are very quick because people have gotten so good. Yeah. Back in the day, T9, people used to be able to send messages just because their thumbs figured out. With people's phones now, I'm not saying me, I put my phone down, especially I'm a motorcycle driver. Look left, look right, look left again, especially whenever you're driving on the same side of the road as people when you're on a bike. But I don't know how they're going to be able to figure out if people are on their phone or not. I guess they have enough stats, but Apple, you can't really get in there. I don't know if that's the case.
Unless it's laying on the floor and it's still unlocked, which it wouldn't be because it times out.
And by the way, with the way that thing crashed, I would assume that thing got
mangled,
probably broken.
Yeah,
I don't know, but you know what? This new new iPhone's a lot tougher than what everybody else is saying in there. I'm happy to hear he's okay though. By the way, not okay. He had a shattered ankle. His rehab is going to suck. He's got to fix his back still. I mean, this is going to be problems. This is going to be a rough, probably 8 months here for Tiger Woods. But on the other side of the documentary that they're inevitably going to make, and they're probably making right now, is going to be awesome to watch. At Boston Connor, big day for you yesterday, huh, pal?
Yeah, it was a good day. I still am kind of, down in the dumps about the whole Daft Punk thing. But it is awesome that, we're honoring them now. And you mentioned that video where they just chopped 3 parts of,
yes.
I forget what song it was, but it was for One More Time.
One More Time.
Unbelievable how that worked.
Yeah, the French pairing of Daft Punk really affected you. You decided to dress the most ridiculous you've ever put your face into the world potentially yesterday, which was a big moment for all of us. Got a good laugh, so we appreciate that.
I don't know if it was ridiculous. Maybe the glasses were, but I thought, with the sweatshirt jean combo, I thought it looked pretty good.
You did. That's what I'm saying, though. But it was fashion forward for sure.
Yeah. There you go.
You know what I mean? It was fashion forward, setting the tone, the whole thing. It is
trying to stay with the times here.
That's very nice. Speaking of sticking with the times, Boston Bruins getting cold. I've been told.
Getting cold.
Yeah.
Is that right? They're getting cold.
Pittsburgh Penguins getting hot.
I can't
Pittsburgh
wait
Penguins getting hot. Last night, they got hot, pal.
I cannot wait to ask Eddie O how bummed he was when he heard that the Bees were coming into their division to take all their chips.
Yeah, it is interesting because hockey is happening. I don't know if you guys know this. Last night, it was tough to watch Penguins Capitals because there was so much on, including Young Rock or whatever. But got to have a couple different screens going or whatever.
How was Little Rock?
What's that, bub?
How was Little Rock?
Well, he's never little, actually. That was a big part of the story yesterday. He was accused of being a narc everywhere he went and almost a pedophile as well. He wasn't allowed on the goddamn bus because the bus driver thought he was a grown-ass man. So it's Young Rock, not Little Rock, because he was never, ever Little Rock. He was always Big Rock, but he's Young Rock. And last night's episode, maybe the best Young Rock episode.
Very good.
Maybe the best episode, yeah.
The best.
Was
I
it
had to
17
rewatch this
minutes?
morning.
That's interesting.
21
you
minutes.
put a tweet about it. I looked, and a lot of the replies to the tweet, it seems like the tides are turning on Baby Rock.
I'll wait for The Rock to tell me how everybody felt about Young Rock.
It was pretty, forward-thinking for him to put in a commercial for his own show during his own show.
Well, the commercial for Young Rock during Young Rock fucking got me going. That's something that I am massive fan of. Like I like that move. The episode last night, definitely better than the pilot.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Definitely better than the pilot.
Okay.
Involves Tomas. Okay. We had new characters introduced.
Champa?
Tomas. And Tomas knocks a motherfucker out.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Night.
Ambien.
Don't use the F word, bitch.
So the second episode was better than the pilot. So that means the pilot must have really been dog shit, huh?
No. First episode was good. It was the best sitcom in the history of NBC.
91% Rotten
The
Tomatoes,
best
dude.
NBC sitcom debut since 2017.
No lies.
A lot of shows have debuted since 2017. I mean, they've been turning them around. Just go ahead. How do we spit out more shit? And then Young Rock
That's like
came in.
being the smartest guy in the room when it's just you and Mitt in the room.
Whoa.
By the way,
He got 31 in his ACT. That's
33.
pretty good.
Slow down.
Yeah, I'm not the smartest.
Mitt might be an engineer back there.
Mitt was actually one of the. He is, by the way, with all these goddamn things he's put together. But Mitt was the only one in this office, I think, that when I said, "Hey, somebody's got to read this particular article," it's a 42-minute read. We had Ty Schmidt do it from home. Harvard accepted into Harvard, and I walked out of my spicy chicken Chick-fil-A shit that I've been taking since 3 a.m. Had me up this morning. And Mitt was sitting there reading this thing like a speed reader. Like, how speed readers read like 2 lines at a time?
Yeah.
That's what Mitt was doing. So that's who you're dealing with back
Is
there.
that why you
remember?
never learned anything?
Yeah, because if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks.
Makes
If you
much
read 2
more.
lines at a time, you're reading no lines at a time. Something very interesting.
Makes much more sense why he was sweating bullets then, because he was thinking so hard, shaking, reading that.
That article about the NFLPA that ESPN posted yesterday is definitely worth a read, especially if you're somebody who always kind of thought, I fucking hate the NFLPA. And that was mostly me, by the way. My last couple of years in the NFL, I would not sign to be a member of the NFLPA.
Love it.
Now, what's that?
I love that.
Thank you. I was the only one. I was the only one on the team.
Did Vinny say anything? Like, hey,
Just sign it.
come on.
No, everybody kind of knew. Everybody kind of knew how because I would ask a question, they would give an answer, and I'd go, well, that's. And then the next year's meeting would happen. I'd ask a question, they give an answer. Well, that's. And then finally I got to, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to this meeting. Just strictly because I want to save everybody else's time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to be in it. I don't want to be asking questions during this whole thing. Gumpy, great to see you. We'll have some soccer bets today, I do believe.
Great night in college basketball last night. WVU is an absolute wagon right now.
Yeah,
Pat.
you're goddamn right. WVU's playing better than everybody on earth right now. Are they peaking too early? Ooh. Hugs is a great tournament coach, too. So whenever those boys get into the tourney with that team he has, I cannot wait to see. WVU is going to mess around and win the whole damn thing. Let's talk about winning the whole damn thing. Ladies and gentlemen, the best running back in college football this past season, a man who's going to be a first-round draft pick out of Alabama, running back Nashi Harris. Yeah! Let's go, Nashi! What's going on, dude?
What? Bro, y'all really got me on this show? What's up with it?
Hey! So were you actually clapping there or not? Because there was no sound coming through. I thought you were on mute. Then I heard that incredible voice. I was pretty pumped up about it. Were you clapping there alongside of us or what?
Here to clap?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right, I like it.
Y'all got,
Hey.
y'all like, hey, let Yeah, I like this energy. Y'all making me get excited.
Well, hey, listen, you should be pumped up anyways. You're going to be a first-round draft pick. How you doing? Keep it moving. How's the training going? How's the offseason going? Where's your mind at? Are you putting on weight? Are you maintaining? Where are you right now, Naji?
I'm surviving right now.
Okay.
I'm over here in Texas. So, we just got done with that storm. So I'm training, of course. I'm at my same body weight right now. I'm like 230 still. Training at Exos, our pro day's coming up in another month. So, I'm just trying to get my body right and stuff like that. But, same stuff, different day. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, the combine obviously this year is going to be different than it's ever been. Najee's iPad, shout out, you were on your iPad. That's awesome. I just popped out on the screen there. The combine not being anything this year, basically. You're going to have a lot of coaches and GMs at your pro day and everything like that. I think in Alabama, you guys go to the pro days. Like last year, you were at the pro day, right? You watched the pro day, I'd assume. That's kind of like with the Alabama thing. It's like you get height, weight, and everything if you're going to be up next year. Is that kind of how it goes? And what are you expecting out of your pro day here? What are we going to run? Are we in an area of what we think we're going to run? And how do you feel about certain teams? Have they reached out to you yet, or you had any conversations with anybody yet?
Ooh. You sound like the feds when you ask these questions.
What are you going to run?
You sound like either police or something. But look, of course, people, teams been reaching out and stuff like that. At the pro day, I want, it's more of an excitement if people come and tune in to watch because, of course, I can say a time, but I want people there to watch to see what I'll be running and the drills I'll be doing and stuff like that. So, I'm not going to give you a time. I would just say, how about you just tune in and see?
Oh, okay. Smart, by the way. Because if you give a time and you hit it, they're going to be like, well, he did what he thought he was going to do. If you hit a time and you're like 0.01 over, they're like,
yeah.
Is there a question about Naji? Is there...
What?
Have they been Zooming, call you, FaceTime, emails? How do they reach out to a first-round draft pick? I've never experienced that.
You asking a lot of questions, man.
It's a fucking talk show. That's the way fucking talk shows go, Naji.
Please, listen. If you know how the process goes, then you should know.
I'm not a first rounder. I was seventh rounder, almost undrafted. For you, I'd assume, especially with...
What position you play?
What position I play?
Yeah.
Linebacker.
You ain't no damn linebacker.
Whoa. 265 right now, Naji.
What was you playing at?
245, depending upon the year.
Where you go?
West Virginia.
Who was your coach at that time?
Well, Rich Rodriguez was, and then we lost to Pitt because our stupid fucking kicker missed 2 kicks, and then he went up to Michigan or whatever. I had Bill Stewart.
No, he went to Michigan.
Yeah.
But you see how I'm question like I'm the feds though. You see that? It's like you see how kind of the roles change and stuff like that.
No, it's a fucking talk show. Like that's gonna happen, dude. Like, that's how it works. Hey, listen, this is how this whole thing works, Naji. And by the way, okay, let's not do that. Let's not ask questions. Naji, watching you play football last year was awesome, dude. With no fans in there, did that affect you at all? You went Doak Walker, made you better almost.
I honestly feel like no fans there. For me, it don't matter either way because when I'm playing, like everything is I'm just zoned out anyways, so I don't really hear nothing. But like whenever I'm on the sidelines, you hear the fans because they gonna talk shit like always. You feel me? They gonna be like, "God damn it, you suck, Naji, get your ass out there, do your thing." Okay, I'm in the South, so like I'm a Cali dude, so I really can't like when I'm on the sidelines, like I hear them talking, but like I can't hear them talking because they got such a country ass accent. The only thing I'm hearing is, "God damn it, you need to run harder." I'm like, what the hell? Like, so did the fans affect it? Like a little bit. But when I'm on the sideline, you hear everything, especially them country ass, people in the stands.
So I played at West Virginia. We were in the Big East at the time, and played some big games, obviously BCS and everything like that. And there was always the bias that SEC football, it's different down here. It's how the whole thing is. I went to the SEC championship game last year. That was last year, 2 years ago. Last year, It was insane. I'd never seen anything like it. Cults, it's like a cult basically down there. Every single day. There was grown, Georgia was playing there. There was grown, very successful people barking at the top. 55-year-old billionaires I saw bark. Like the SEC football is something that I thought I understood. I did not. Did you know what you were getting into whenever you came from Cali or whatever? You kind of knew like, hey, this is a religion down here, which it really is in the South.
Okay, I knew that. So when, of course, we're going to visit stuff like that. So I knew that, football's taken seriously there, but I did not know that, like, the fans would be that damn crazy. I can't even, like, it was just at some points where, like, I know that's the thing of saying Roll Tide there, but goddamn, like, sometimes when I'm just getting food, they just be like, Roll Tide, Nachi. I'd be like, bro, like, let me just eat my food. Like, I understand that, but goddamn, like, just chill out for a minute with this Roll Tide stuff. Like, so, like, sometimes, like, because I used to, like, I like joking around with people, so, like, a lot of times they'll say, Roll Tide, Nachi. And I'd be like, well, War Eagle. Oh! I promise, bro, like, so, you see y'all face, like, so that, like, just seeing their face there, they'd be like, well, hold on now. Like, hold on now. Like, you're wearing the wrong colors then, sweetie. I'd be like, bro, I'm just messing with you. But, like, it's funny. So, like, I didn't know that, like, it was so much of, like, of the fans and stuff like that would be so crazy there. But, if you're a football player, you wouldn't want no better atmosphere to play in that type of stuff. I mean, it's so fun of, like, just the little small games could be even the biggest games to them. So, like, for the excitement and stuff like that, there is a reason why I came there, and the competition level, of course, is the best. They have the best competition there. Me personally, I think the SEC has the best competition. Is the best conference.
At this point, I think everybody agrees with you now. I mean, that's just it's kind of the way it is. It wasn't always like that, I don't think personally, but as it's rolled on, the powerhouse. And by the way, Alabama is the reason, right? I mean, just the standard that has been set there, that it feels like Saban can just put it on auto repeat every single year. Okay, you were the number one recruit in America coming out of high school, right? That's accurate.
Yeah, about accurate.
Shout out you, dude. Shout out you. Shout out your high school days too, by the way. They could not stop the kid. But was it as soon as Saban enters the conversation, is like, I'm definitely going to Alabama? Like, how does that whole thing unfold there? And why is Saban so good at getting everybody that is unbelievable to buy into, like, hey, you're not going to be a starter immediately. You're going to have to compete. You're going to do this. And then you're probably going to be a first round. Is that what he says? You're just going to be a first round draft pick? Is that how it works?
Oh, man, that's not how it works. Not at all. So really, my decision ultimately going there was shout out to Saban, but it has nothing to do with Saban. It was really the competition that attracted me. Like you said, I was a former high recruit, and they bring in that every single year though. So like me going there and competing against the number one running back, the number one linebacker, the number one safety, the number one DN, like the number one anything in every position, like it helps me get better every day. And like, the saying iron sharpens iron. So just the competition there alone at practice is like sometimes it will be harder than the game.
Well, I would say,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Like the competition there, like think about this. Like my freshman year there, I was going up against Minka, Ronnie Harrison, Rashad Evans, freaking Payne, and these are all like former first rounders, like Payne, I was Anthony Everett on the DN on the side. They're like starters too. It's Levi Wallace on the other side. Like it was one of their best defenses they had. Like I'm going up against that every single day. Like for me as a running back, I'm like, man, like what the hell? Like I want to serve all these people every day. So like I could show them, like, even though y'all got all these big name dudes, like watch me come in and watch me like show out all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just a competitor to me. So like that's what really attracted me in going there. You know what I'm saying?
How much did your body change from when you got there to when you're leaving? You said you're 230 right now. Did you come in about that, or was there a transformation?
I mean, shit. Bro, I came in there like 225, to be honest with you.
So you were just grown-ass man as soon as you got on campus. Yeah, just because I did some college games last year. I got to call some college games. We traveled around or whatever, and we talked to the strength coach. The strength coach is with the players all the time. So, like, that's if you want to really learn about the team, like, strength coach person to talk to. And
yeah. Exactly.
It's real. They're the only ones that legally are allowed to be around you or whatever. A lot of these strength coaches will show pictures of all these guys. They're like, this is when they got here, and then they'll put on like 35, 40 pounds. It's like, this is the grown-ass man that's leaving now. It's nice to hear that you, number one recruit in the country, was 230-pound, 30-year-old whenever you got to Alabama. That's great news.
Yeah, I came in there, man. I was already ready to go, you know what I'm saying, like that. But, you know, it didn't happen as like that. You know, obviously I sat behind like Josh Jacobs. I sat behind Damian Harris and Bo Scarborough, all good running backs, and all of them is doing good in the league right now. But me sitting behind them, it was a good learning experience. I learned a lot from all of them. So, you know, for me to be the number one recruit and sit behind these people, and, you know, I wanted to compete every day and just to learn from them, you know, it was a good decision for me to go to Alabama.
I would say, hey, it worked out. I would say it
worked out. I appreciate that.
Hey, it worked out. I talked to Frank Gore. He was a teammate of mine. He's still playing, obviously. He's going to play until he's 50. He deserves his own just hallway in the Hall of Fame or whatever. I was talking to him about coming out of the U, because the U's running back room was deep. Okay, the running backs that came out of
I already know that.
Crazy. Yeah. And I was talking to him. I was like, how do you manage that or whatever, you know? And he was like, well, whenever it was my time to go or whatever. And then whenever he was like, whenever it was time to get to the league, I saw all them eating, and I was like, I can't wait till I get my opportunity to. Like, are you excited to get and play the next level to see if you're able to dominate just like you were at college? Or what is it just business as usual going to the NFL? What is the mindset going into like the men's league now?
I'm telling you, this is my mindset, man. Like you said, is it business as usual? For me, like, and, you know, I love Conor McGregor, but like one of his quotes for Conor McGregor is like, or one thing he always say is like, I'm not here to participate, you know, I'm here to take over. So like, my mindset of going to the NFL is not to participate, you know, just saying like, hey, look it, I made it to the NFL, all that stuff like that. Like, I really am trying to like dominate it. You know what I'm saying? Cause like, I don't want to, like I said, I don't like just participating stuff. Like, you know, like I said, me coming to Alabama in my freshman year and to go up against Minka and everybody like that, like, I don't want to just say, oh, I played against them. Like, I want to show them, like, I want to dominate against them. You know what I'm saying? Like, So that's my mindset of like entering the league. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me to train, like I train so much just for like to put myself in position to do it. Cause, you know, all I could do is just play my part, you know, handle what I can do. And what I can handle, what I can do is just training, you know, giving everything I need to work on, you know, fixing that. And, you know, when I get my chance in the league, you know, I'm not planning to participate or just say like, you know, I'm playing. I really just want to like dominate in any way, form, or fashion.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Minka almost got Defensive Player of the Year in that trade whenever he went over to Pittsburgh, just absolutely dominated. A lot of Pittsburgh Steelers fans, by the way, and I assume you're hearing this on Twitter or any other social media platform. There are a lot of people that are asking for your services in their city. That has to feel pretty good.
Hey, I don't control that. Hey, listen, I don't control that. I ain't the one making the decision at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I can't control that. So the only thing I can control is me training. Whatever happens, happens.
Who's called you the most? Who's called you the most?
My agent.
That's hilarious. Connor, what do you have?
Yeah, Nashi, I feel like every other weekend we're watching you hurdle somebody. Do you watch that in film and like pick a guy out, or are you just right before you're running like, oh shit, I got to jump right now?
Man, you know what it is? Truthfully, it's me I'm tired of getting hit in my damn legs. So I'm like, God damn, this shit hurt. So I'm gonna just start jumping. I promise you. I'm like, all right, bro, I'm gonna start jumping. Some like, okay, one play, like it was just pure like instinct, was like the Notre Dame one. Like I thought it was like I turned the corner, I didn't really see him. And I thought like, you know, because I'm a bigger back, so I thought like, all right, he about coming for my legs, but it didn't work out like that, I guess.
Steve Sarkisian came in there, and that offense became like a pro-style offense, it felt like. Motions. Mac Jones was able to dissect the defense.
The goddamn motions, bro. I'm telling you, I was tired. I used to tell Coach Sark every day in practice, like, come on, bro. Like, I'm tired of like running out and then running back in just to run out. Like, I used to tell him all the time, bro, all these damn motions. But like, you can finish your question though. But I was a part, like, me and him got I told him about that part. It was funny though. It was a practice thing.
No, it's not like Sarkisian. It sounds like you had a great relationship with him. He that offense, what you guys were I mean, obviously coming off of Joe Burrow's year at LSU, people are like, there's no way anybody's going to be able to duplicate what LSU with Joe Brady and Joe Burrow did at LSU. And then like the first 6-7 weeks or whatever, you guys were better than it. Was like, holy, Sarkisian came in there and it was just a complete transformation of everything, or was it just the right pieces, the right time? What do you think it was that made it just pop off so well?
You know what? I think one of them was we had a lot of returners, right? So we had a lot of guys that know what they were doing. So when you know what you're doing, you get to play faster. So, you know, we obviously had Schmitty and Waddle. We had like a lot of returners on our front line. You know, obviously I was there returning too. And then really the piece that you know, everybody was like going into the season was kind of like, okay, like we got to get this right, and then what will be good is the quarterback position, because obviously we lost Tua. And Max, it was Max stepped in, and then we was like, you know, it was like, Najee, how you think he's gonna do? I'm like, I mean, shit, we'll see. I mean, like either way, one way or another, we got to like get his back the way he's our quarterback. And then, goddamn, you feel me? He did his thing. He did better. He did better. I'm like, you know, sometimes I would just see this dude like just go and do an extra film, extra all that stuff, just for like, you know, just for him to get that edge, you know. And then Mac Jones playing at a high level made us all play like even better, because, you know, like I said, like that was a certain position. Like we was kind of, I personally was kind of like I don't know really what to expect right now, but you know, we had two dynamic. We had a lot of dynamic playmakers at the edge.
Yeah, and
we had a good old line, obviously, and then you got
two Heisman finalists. You got a Heisman winner, Heisman finalist, Doak Walker Award winner in the back. I mean, now I'm not saying Sarkisian could have been a fucking idiot and did that, but I mean that team, the way the offense was put together though, with the motions and Mac being able to read, and like it was really awesome to watch. And I think it's going to give you guys a massive advantage going into the NFL whenever it comes to like reading what defenses are in. Now, college defenses are so basic, obviously. But I think what Sarkisian did not only made you guys dominate, but I think it helped all you guys as well with the transition.
It helped us out a lot, because now that I'm doing I'm doing interviews obviously with NFL teams, and you know they're saying I was at the Reese's Bowl, and you know, I was there for a minute, and you know, I was on the Dolphins team, and then they was doing their playbook, and I was like, damn, like it's crazy, like everything that's here, like that was our offense, literally, but just different names. So like our offensive game plan was literally an NFL game plan, you know, because obviously, you know, Sark just came from the Atlanta Falcons, and you know he tried to put a lot of what he did for the Falcons into the offense we had. So you know, just learning from him. And then just besides Sarkisian, though, I had Coach Loxley, who's at Maryland, head coach, and then I had the Bills Coach Dable, and he was the offensive coordinator for the Bills. But at first, he was offensive coordinator for the Patriots. So like my 4 years here, like I was always learning from an NFL offensive coordinator or somebody in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? So like now that I'm entering the league, it's like, all right, nothing is new here. I literally know what to do. It's just different names.
What was
I'm saying for it, like.
Do you guys have real majors down there in Alabama? You guys don't play? Do you guys play school or no? What was your major?
Play school? God damn it! I wish we could play school. I was over there working my ass off, but sometimes I wouldn't even sleep. I was stressing. School was way harder than football. God damn it.
Well, yeah, it seemed like for you that is the truth. What was your major?
I was a consumer science and had a minor in social work. I'm big on social work.
Let's go.
Nice. Yeah, he started clapping.
Hey, get you a clap there. Get you a round of applause. The NFL offense thing, though, I've seen plenty of talented dudes look very lost and uncomfortable their rookie year, second year, because they don't know they have no idea what's going on. Anytime you're thinking, you're not reacting. The fact that you're sitting there in that Reese's Bowl looking at the Dolphins offense, like, oh, we just got to change the terms. I know that exactly. That is I can't wait to see what you do. You're not going to participate, Najee. You're going to take over, pal. What do you got, Connor?
That's the word. I ain't participating if I'm trying to dominate. But, you know, hey, but look, I might make a mistake, though, but don't be like, God damn it, Najee, what are you doing? Like them little country folks out there. Be like, hey, listen. It'd be like, hey, listen. You know, he's a rookie, making rookie mistakes. But if I do it twice, then you'd be like, then say like, all right, you kind of fucking up, Najee. You know?
Hey, by the way, We won't. We'll say you're doing great no matter what. I just want to let you know. We'll say you're doing great no matter what. Pittsburgh, though, you're going to learn their accent if you go up there and play up there. You're going to love that. I mean, the Yinzers have Pittsburgh people have their own accent, their own way of talking.
They got an accent in Pittsburgh?
Oh yeah. Don. All right, very lazy way of speaking. All the words kind of stick together. I'm from Pittsburgh originally. A couple of us are. It's just like Nashi Harris running them down over there. Yeah.
For any Pittsburgh fan, listen, he said that. He said y'all got a lazy accent. And all
No,
that.
they know. They know.
Oh, they know.
Hey, you're talking about you go to Pittsburgh
badge of
now.
honor.
Yeah, you're talking. You go to Pittsburgh. I think. Could you imagine with the Watts there, and then you get this 230-pound dude from Alabama in the back? If you gain 2 yards a run after what they did last year, you'd be maybe put a statue up of you in Pittsburgh. If that, Connor, what do you?
Yeah, Najee,
Whoa. Listen, any fan, that is him saying all I'm not saying none of this. Only thing I'm on the show. I'm just listening what he say. He is saying all this about y'all. You feel me?
Now, your face was there while I said it.
I'm a fan of everybody.
No, whenever we clip it, you were sitting right there nodding your head while I said it. The whole world saw it, Connor. Yeah, you were. Yep, that's Connor.
No, I was looking at these dogs jumping roping. I'm like, damn, I ain't never I'm looking at these dogs.
Is it really dogs jumping rope outside?
Yeah.
Texas is wild.
Texas.
What do you got?
Texas is wild. Hey, you see some crazy stuff here.
Najee, a big conversation on the internet during that national championship was Jalen Waddle wanting to play, and a lot of people thought he shouldn't. Did you or Devontae or anybody go up to him and be like, hey, man, maybe not today, or was he going to play no matter what because he's a warrior?
Listen. Now, the whole week, I was telling him not to play, all right? But, I mean, like, you know, I keep telling him, like, listen, J-Dub, and you ain't got to show nothing, all right? We all know what you can do. We all know it. Like, just take this game out, bro. Like, the worst thing that we want to see as a teammate is to see, like, something happen again. He was just like, all right, now, like, I got you, dog. and he suited up. I'm like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's his decision. J-Dub, one thing is a warrior, you know what I'm saying? But, like, if you think about it, though, like, you got to feel the emotions where he's coming from. Like, we're looking at it as his teammate standpoint, as your health. And, like, you know, obviously, you know, you should look at that too. But, like, he's got hurt, like, maybe the fourth, I don't know when we played Tennessee, maybe like the fourth or fifth. And, you know, he was rehabbing. And, like, you know, him just seeing us play, his brothers out there playing, you know, he is building a fire in you as a competitor. Like, man, I want to go out there. So, you know, at the championship game, you know, he suited up, and right when you suit up, I mean, like, you feel like you're invincible, kind of, in a way. You know, it's like a superpower you put on your pads. It's like, all right, it's time to go. So, I mean, like I said, he did it, and I was just like, man, like, nobody knows their body other than themselves. So, you know, he went out there and he did his thing, and, like, to this day, like, I commend him. Like goddamn, like, he went out there and did this, and he did for what he can do. He did it. He did amazing.
By the way,
and then, like, you know, he's healthy right now. So, like I said, like, he knew his body and he knew what he can do. So, I mean, like, I know people was like, kind of like, man, like, I don't think you should do that. But, like, you know, nobody knows their body other than you. And, I mean, he went out there and he did his thing.
I don't know my body well. I don't know my body well. It changes a lot. You know, I go from three
no,
technique.
you're like a slob.
Whoa.
All right, that's the show. Thank you, Najee. Thank you so much. Can't wait to watch the pro day. Appreciate you so much, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Coke Walker Award winner, Nashi Harris. Never see you again, dude. Never see you again, bud. All right. That guy was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. Started out terrible, but I'm a big fan of his. He's going to be a stud.
Take over.
Now, obviously, I'm not like a football Scott. Okay, I'm not watching every single play. 230 pounds.
He's very good.
He can jump over a dude that's standing up in the middle of the thing. I feel like, is the music playing? Yeah? There it is. I don't have to have things in because the thing blew my ear out yesterday.
The best part, too, is he's going to go tell his buddy, he's like, I was on the show with this old West Virginia middle linebacker.
I was excited to see how far we could go with that. Yeah. I just put myself in Reed Williams' body there. I was gonna start putting his stats out there. Yeah, defensive fucking player of the game. Fiesta Bowl, pal. What are we even talking about here? My roommate, he was much tougher than I. Blew out both of his shoulders, though, because he threw his head into things. Now he's a farmer with 7 degrees and a doctorate on it.
Still got a record in that Fiesta Bowl, though.
Goddamn right he does. We got to get to a break because we will miss the hard out at the end if we don't. This is Mark Maxwell Jr. this song. Ooh. One Night is the name of the song. This kid goes to Ball State. His dad is an officer of the law in the town that I live in here in Indianapolis.
Hell yeah.
Good guy.
It's a banger.
Good song.
I hope this is it. I don't know. I can't.
It sounds like Adam Levine.
Yeah, it's Mark Maxwell Jr. Independent artist, dude. Support the guy. All right, we're going to get to a break. We'll see you on the other side. Maybe some phone calls. Probably not enough time to do so, so we'll hit that in the second hour. This is Pat McAfee Show, Wednesday, February 24th. I'd also potentially taken over their 30 edibles because I thought more teammates of mine were going to want to indulge in that either before the game or after the game. And to get to London, you go through your own TSA here. The team has TSA that you have to check in. Here's my passport. The Colts already have it. They took it all from everybody. It's literally you get your bags checked and then you're through. Put them in a little thing. We're good to go. It's team's TSA. Get on the bus, fly over there. I forgot all about them. Didn't utilize them at all because how things quickly changed.
Right.
After we lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, we're on the team bus. They go, hey, we're going through Heathrow Airport through the real-life TSA. And at that moment, I look around. I go, oh, no. I have some things in my bag right now that have vitamins in them. I have to get rid of them. And at that point, I'd whittled it down to like 15 of them. And I look at Vinatieri, and I'm like, buddy, not good. He was like, what are you going to do? I was like, I guess I'm just going to throw them away in here. Couldn't do that because right next to the trash can was an English police officer. So I couldn't just walk up and dump a bunch of edibles into the thing next to the guy. He's going to ask questions. We're going to the Heathrow Airport. Now I got to do what I got to do. We finally get there. Police escorts, a lot going on. So I just take down 13 edibles.
Yikes.
See you later. Vinatieri looks at me and goes, how you doing, bud? I was like, good now, but things are about to happen. He goes, I got you, little buddy. I'm like, thank you. So we go through the little check-in thing. And right before we get to the scan of the bags thing, it all hits me. I might as well have been on Cloud 45 over there in London. They check my bag, boom, boom, boom. I get selected. Something was in my bag. So now all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, did I leave a couple in there? Oh my God. Vinatieri starts walking ahead. He turns around, he's like, what's going on? I'm like, they got my bag, man. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, I have no idea. So he comes and stands with me. He's like, I got you, bub. I was like, they might got me, for real. I might be staying the night in England. They go through my bag. Turns out, had a vibrating toothbrush. Thing was vibrating in my bag.
Yep.
They're like, oh, it must have been this. Or it must have been my big-ass toothpaste because you can't fly with that. I was like, you got it, pal. I get all the way back to the plane. Lost my ticket somewhere. Somehow I don't have a ticket. So now I got to check into the gate people that I don't have a ticket. I'm like, I'm on this plane. I promise I am, but I don't have a ticket. They're like, what's your name? I'm like, Patrick McAfee. The McAfee? No, yeah, whatever you want to call me. I just need a ticket. So now I have to sit there and wait as somebody brings me a ticket from the front while my entire team walks by me, knowing that I'm on Cloud 50, just having a good time. Grigson walks by, just upset, obviously. I wish he would have known that I was in a mood where he should have talked to me there. It was just a nightmare. The London trip for me from beginning to end was not good, and I think that happens for a lot of NFL players.
Give us a call at 888-MAD-DOG-6. Pat wants to hear from you. No, not really. He just ran out of things to talk about. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
It's a very accurate. That's a very accurate one. We only have 25 seconds, so we did run out of things to talk about, and we also ran out of time to talk about anything. Hard Out here on SiriusXM Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio in about 15 seconds. Hour 2 on radio will be on the other side. Mark Madden from Pittsburgh will join us about the Steelers drama. We'll take some phone calls, and then Eddie O joins us in the third hour for Hockey Talk. This is Pat McAfee Show. You got about 6 minutes. We'll see you then. We just went to a break. We can't do another one. That'd be kind of fucked up if, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's how you just tank a show completely. You just spit in the eyes of the audience.
Can't do that to you, too.
Now, I will say the 6-minute break is very nice if you have to go to the bathroom, which I will inevitably have to do. So we'll probably go for like 4 minutes here, then do a 2-minute sprint or whatever.
There it is.
But the YouTubers, we appreciate the fucking hell out of you guys for watching this. Hey, shout out you guys, dude. Shout out you guys.
Thank you, YouTube!
Let's go to Chad in New Orleans. What's going on, Chad?
Hey, what's happening, Pat?
Oh. Man, I'll tell you what. An accent that does not get talked about enough is the Cajun one, which is a southern kind of mix. It almost has a little yinzer in there. Ooh. It's a beautiful one, Chad.
Hey, look, we got a little New York, Pittsburgh, or whatever. What's happening, boys? How y'all doing today?
What do you want to talk about, Chad?
Man, look, what happened to... I got two things real quick, and just real fast. What happened to High Pockets, bro, on the draft? He didn't send y'all little dog. He fucked y'all over on that.
Palmer was supposed to bring it.
Signed dog.
Yeah. Palmer, at the draft show, he said he was going to give us a little bobblehead that would belong to his dad, but then he never gave it to us.
Oh, shit.
Geez.
He did. It was at the house.
Yeah.
I know he fucked you up on that, Pat. You got to get on it.
Chad, hey, thanks for holding that receipt there, Chad. We will follow up with that. We are owed that. Thank you so much.
Look, let me tell you I know y'all got a lot of shit to do, but I've been watching you since I was in prison, and I just got out. I snuck a phone in to listen to you. I just got out and shit. Huh?
Well, I want to let you know that's maybe the best compliment I've ever been given in my entire life, Chad.
Yeah, well, you made my day go by. I wasn't a criminal. I just got caught up. But what happened was, I want to talk about Drew Brees, bro. You know how you say you can read a room?
Yep.
I can read people. That dude's full of fucking shit, straight up.
Oh, Chad. I'm a big Chad from New Orleans fan.
Is that the greatest call of all time?
I learned a lot. He said he snuck a phone in there to listen to us.
Man.
Shout out, Chad.
Shout out, Chad.
I wasn't a real criminal. I just got caught up.
Remind me of John from Georgia.
Oh, John from Georgia, man. I wonder what happened to him.
He's dead for sure.
Let's have a moment of silence for John from Georgia. Thank you, John. Shout out Chad from New Orleans.
Shout out.
Let's go. Now, down in New Orleans, Drew Brees is a hero down there, right? Mm-hmm. Won a Super Bowl down there. Yeah. Probably done a lot in the community, I'd assume. He was like the face, the poster boy of the NFL for a little bit. Which, was that happening because there was potential things happening behind the scenes with the NFLPA? I don't know. There's a lot of reports coming out. When you're Drew Brees, by the way, at the top of the world, and you're potentially at the end of it, there's going to be a lot of people taking shots at you potentially. So I don't know what to believe and what's not to believe, but I do believe the tide is turning on Drew and how people feel about, hey, let's go ahead and hurry this fuck up, huh?
You ran your race, Drew.
Yeah, we got things to do, is what people are saying. Now, with the Duvie Kleiman Twitter post about him having a lower passer rating than if he was to throw every single ball just directly into the dirt after receiving it, maybe there is a little bit that Drew Brees wants to come back, and then will Sean Payton just have to grit and bear that? Well, he had to be like, all right, well, Drew wants to come back. Drew's coming back. I'm not 100% sure.
And they knew that quarterback rating because earlier in the year, there was a game where we actually just did throw the ball in the dirt every single pass of the game. So that's how they knew.
All right. We got 2 minutes until we're back on radio. We got to go to the bathroom. We'll see you. Shout out, Chad.
Shout out,
Chad.
Motor City Dan Campbell, the head coach for the Detroit Lions, might be the biggest football guy I have ever seen operate in public in my entire life. MC, DC.
Dan Campbell's been a guy who's been on my rising head coaching candidates list for several years now.
He said, you're going to knock us down. We're going to get up, and on our way up, we're going to bite your kneecap off.
If you're Dan Campbell's guy, like you would do anything for him. He seems to be that kind of person.
If you're a Detroit Lions fan, I think you are fucking excited about the possibilities.
And I mean, he's always on fire, always ready to go.
No other team in the NFL is ready to bite off fucking patellas, dude.
Hope he turns it around up there in Detroit, man.
The best thing to happen to the NFL in a long, long time at this point.
Program builder, a tone setter, a culture builder.
And there's nothing better than this guy right now.
He was always poised. He was always locked in.
A gallon of coffee a day.
Somebody who played for the Lions. He understands that market. He understands they haven't won since 1957. He knows all the different challenges. He knows what it's like to live there, to be a part of it.
I love what Dan Campbell's doing.
The greatest thing the Detroit Lions have ever done.
Oh, man, they got a great one.
Let's go! MCDC, dude. MCDC. Go get you a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
God damn it!
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Hour 2 here on this internationally syndicated YouTube prison show.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. We'll begin immediately follow this speed drop. Shout out to Twine. Welcome back to the show. In this hour, we will see Mark Madden from Pittsburgh. Yes! Radio legend will join us to talk about everything going on in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. Big news this morning out of Pittsburgh is that the Pittsburgh Steelers do officially want Ben Roethlisberger back, and Ben Roethlisberger wants to be back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to have to renegotiate a contract. Mark Madden, though, took Rooney's statement that Rooney made after conversating with Ben Roethlisberger, where he said that Ben shared with him that he would like to be a part of next year, and we shared with him that we would like to have him back to help us win a championship. Mark Madden tweeted out that he didn't say that Ben's coming back, and I guess he didn't, but I'm excited to hear what Mark's thoughts are on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mark has always been a big Ben Roethlisberger guy, but he's going to call it how he sees it. That's how he's been in the radio business for 30 years at this point, at the top of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now. No, he's not on.
Calling him.
Marquis.
Well, Jay went over to where he calls him and then went back to his corner. So I just assumed, like, okay, call was completed. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, a man who was a commentator for WCW, a man who has been nationally syndicated as a radio host and then became strictly the voice of Pittsburgh sports. Basically, everybody in the city either absolutely loves him or absolutely despises him, which is right where he wants to be. Tested IQ of 166, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Madden.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mark. How are you, bub?
Yesterday, I was on Spittin' Chicklets, Pat, the hockey podcast. Today, I'm adding electricity to your show. I am in demand, and I am all the way live.
Well, I am very thankful for that. I saw you. I am a big Spittin' Chicklets fan. Love the boys over there. I saw your top 5 you gave. You did not have Crosby at 1. We could talk about that for the next 20 minutes if we'd like to, but I'd rather not. I'd like to say your top 5, very respectable, obviously, from one of the biggest hockey minds ever to exist.
Well, I think that Lemieux, Orr, and Gretzky are top 3, in whatever order you want to proclaim them. Can't really be argued. I mean, you can't argue Gretzky's points. You can't argue the way Orr changed the game and got all that offense despite playing defense. And certainly Lemieux is the most potent offensive force to ever play the game. And then after that, I think Crosby and Gordie Howe are pretty obvious. Maybe Rocket Richard figures in. But it's funny, all the feedback I've gotten on Twitter since I talked about that list. It's like it's a blood oath, and there has to be a feud like Hatfields and McCoys. Because what about Messier? What about Yager? What about shutting up and letting the experts talk?
You love it, though. I would assume we're going to see a lot more top fives out of Mark Madden strictly because of the interaction that you probably got to have on the internet over this yesterday. Let's move on to football, though. That's the only thing people really want to hear me talk about ever. I know you are a very diversified collection of opinions and thoughts because of the big old brain, but let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. You put out a tweet this morning that's maybe my favorite tweet I've seen in some time. Aditi yesterday put out a tweet that Ben Roethlisberger's agent told her that the Steelers told him that they want Ben Roethlisberger back. Then this morning, Rooney put out a statement via the Steelers saying, hey, Ben Roethlisberger and I met yesterday morning and we had a productive meeting. We are able to discuss a lot of things that relate to where we are and where we want to go. Ben assured me that he is committed to coming back to help us win. And I told Ben that we would like to have him back to help us win a championship. We both understand that the next step is to work out Ben's contract situation. You put out a tweet this morning and said, Rooney said it didn't say Ben's coming back. How do you read that and don't see that? And do you like that Ben's coming back?
Art Rooney didn't say Ben's coming back. He just didn't say it. He said they have to work out the contract and the cap, and that's what he said 3 weeks ago. So as far as I'm concerned, it's more likely, but it has not yet been decided. I also like it that the Steelers' arrogance, as personified by their president, enables him to say, we want to have Ben come back to help us win a championship. They ain't won a playoff game since 2016, and they've won 3 in the last 10 years. But yeah, let's win a championship out of the clear frigging blue sky when Baltimore and Cleveland are in our division, and they're both clearly better than us, and Cleveland kicked our ass in the postseason just a month or so ago. So I think Ben probably is coming back. And I think it's their best bet, but if he does come back, Pat, then they got to do everything to try to win this season. If they draft the quarterback in any round, Ben should quit right there on the spot. But by the same token, Ben can't be the boss anymore. These 3-yard passes last year to get rid of the ball and never get hit, if he's not willing to throw deep, if he's not willing to hang in there and take risks to make plays, then he should not be playing. Pat, his average pass, his average completion last year, traveled 3 yards in the air. Dead people fall forward further. They need to embrace what Matt Canada wants to do, at least what Ben can do in the context of his offense. And every run-pass option can't be a pass. Last year, they were last in the league in rushing. They were first in the league in pass attempts, and that is a one-way ticket to Palookaville, then and now.
All right, so let's talk about a couple of things you use. It sounds like you know that Ben's coming back. I mean, obviously.
No, I don't know. Like when I read what Art Rooney said, it's like if Noah had said, well, if it doesn't rain, we won't need this boat. I mean, you see what's likely, but he didn't say anything definite.
Okay. Shout out Noah, by the way. Shout out Noah. First documented blackout, too, by the way. People forget with Noah. He was found naked in his winery by his kids in some page in the book there that they have after saving the world. But so if Ben comes back, okay, Ben, let's say he's coming back. Let's assume he's coming back. You say they got to go all in. They'll save money if they do an extension. They'll be able to save $14 million. I think Spotrac and Maziano put that out there, that's probably how the extension will look. What else do the Steelers have to do, you think, to win a championship so they don't just have 3 playoff wins in 10 years to get there? What do they have to? We just talked to Nashi Harris, great running back. Is that what they need? What all do you think?
Well, I wrote that in the Trib in my column earlier today. I mean, I think they're nowhere close to a championship. I don't even think they're a playoff team, far from guaranteed to even make the postseason, Pat. But I would get Najee Harris, yes. I know that a lot of people think they need to get offensive linemen, and they do. But if they go into next season with Benny Snell as the starting running back, Ben won't take him seriously. The other team won't take him seriously. Najee Harris would open the field up for Ben, open the field up for the entire offense, and you can make do on the offensive line. They have a few decent components there, and they can figure it out otherwise. But if Benny Snell's the number 1 back, forget about it. They're going to finish last in rushing again and first in pass attempts again. They need Najee Harris. I think he may well be available at number 24, and if he is, the Steelers should take him.
He just gave us an incredible interview, to be honest. I mean, he'd probably do very well. So you would like, and he has good personality. Now, if he plays bad,
Well, Pat, if he can talk, then we really need to draft him. Although, like everybody else, the Steelers won't let him come on my show.
Well, there's a Juju's probably coming back. Wants to be Pittsburgh for life. By the way, once his legacy.
Oh wait, now hold it. You open that
about.
can of worms. He's saying that so when he leaves, he can shrug his shoulders and sigh and say, "Well, I wanted to. I tried. I did my best. I love Pittsburgh, but New York, here I come."
What do you have, Carl?
Yeah, my question was actually around Juju, Mark. Do you think that it's worth it to bring him back now that Ben is confirmed to be the guy going forward, hopefully?
Brent's not confirmed. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to say it.
He fucking, will you put that quote back up, please? Hold on. Mark, it has been, you have a tested IQ 166. Now, this was crafted, obviously, where they can't say the deal has been done. We would like to have him back to help us win a championship.
Read the last sentence, Pat. Read the last sentence. That is all the people need to know.
We both understand that the next step is to work out Ben's contract situation. Business is business, okay? But it seems like both sides here are on the record of saying, we're going to get this done. It'd be bad if the Steelers come out and say this and then can't get the deal done, don't you think?
I don't think they care what it looks like. I mean, they'll make it seem like it's Ben's fault if it doesn't work out. But I think it's very likely he will come back and play. I will deal from that perspective if you like.
We would like you to deal from that perspective. Does that mean that Juju and he are a package deal?
No, they're not. Juju and Twitch are a package deal.
Wow.
Juju and TikTok are a package deal. He's going to get like 14, 15 million somewhere, Pat. The Steelers can't afford him. He can't afford to stay with the Steelers, and they don't need him. Their receiving core is just fine without him. You lose something if he leaves, I grant that. But they got Washington. They got Deontay Johnson. They got Chase Claypool, who will turn out to be just as big an ass as Juju. They're going to be fine.
It's Mapletron. Have a little fucking respect, please. What do you got, Diggs?
Mark.
Yeah, Mapletron. He's a joke like that Canadian division in the NFL.
Woo! NHL. Yeah. Woo!
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Matt Murray last night, big shootout win. That kid's stopping pucks out there.
I feel bad for Matt Murray. He is on a shooting gallery. But that Canadian division, that's like a minor league stuffed into a pinball machine. It's top heavy with stars. Those stats shouldn't even count.
Mark, is there any reason to believe that new Steelers offensive coordinator Matt Canada isn't going to be a lapdog like Randy was for Ben?
That's a good question, and he can't be. If Ben's going to run the offense, if he's going to check into a pass every play, the team won't be any better. Ben doesn't have the mobility to execute all the bells and whistles of a typical Matt Canada offense. Then again, Matt Canada's never been a coordinator in the NFL, so I'm not sure what a typical offense as administered by him at that level will be like. But Matt Canada has to be in charge, but I will believe that when I see it. That's a good point.
The Steelers never pay anybody, right? Isn't that kind of like a thing? They don't really pay people. That isn't.
They pay the star players. I mean, they spend up to the cap, but their coaching hires have been a bit circumspect. I forget how many, but at least two of their hires, maybe three, come to the Steelers with no NFL coaching experience. Like when we had the big to-do about signing J.J. Watt and T.J. Watt and Derek Watt, because all the Watts on one team, that would be so cool. I said bring in Mr. and Mrs. Watt, the mom and dad, as assistant coaches. They have as much experience as most of the Steelers' recent hires.
Okay. Mr. and Mrs. Watt, by the way, legends.
Yeah.
Legends in their own right. And the Watt brothers have teamed up, by the way, for an incredible tag national show. The
best.
It was the best tag show I've ever seen in my entire life. And
What is tag? I don't even know what tag is.
they hosted a show, Mark. They're TV hosts.
Where was that?
Prime time. Fox. All the Watts. Tag.
Ultimate tag, yeah.
You mean where adults are playing tag?
It's professional tag. Yeah, adults are playing tag.
Well, gee, I can't believe I missed that. I hope it's on. I hope I can see it on demand.
You'll get to see it every Sunday if JJ joins the team. You'll get to see it. All the Watts hosting a show out there. It'd be unbelievable.
They can all miss the playoffs together.
Whenever
now, when they do that tag show, Pat, are all three Watts hosting?
Yeah.
Do they wear their rings? Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
I don't have any either. I can't really. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't have rings.
You have charisma, Pat, and that's what matters.
All right, let's talk about the ring thing. Tampa Bay Buccaneers feels like they're going to. You got people that are going to be ring hunting down in Florida. I mean, players love Bruce Arians. There's no tax. The team just won. They got Tom Brady. The general manager said there's a chance for an extension on Tom Brady at this point because he wants to play a little bit longer. Then you got the Los Angeles Rams giving up 3 first-rounders for Matthew Stafford. Got people going in there. How do you feel about the teams? The NBA is kind of becoming – now I'm not saying the NBA and the NFL are ever going to be the exact same thing, but it feels like there's like super teams and there's teams that draft from within. How do you feel about that kind of trend in the NFL, Mark?
I don't think that could quite trend, Pat, the way it did in the NBA, because in the NBA, if you have 2 or 3 star players, you have a team. It takes more than that with the NFL. I think that the most prescient thing you said about Tampa is the no state tax.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if I were a player, I'd go someplace that had a good team and no state tax, and certainly Tampa Bay, as long as they have Brady, fills that bill. And by the way, I know you like to bet occasionally. Boy, I lost on the Chiefs. I was so dumb to bet against Brady, and I will never do it again. I feel stupid, and I'm a super genius. I shouldn't ever feel stupid. That's kind of like the scene in The Godfather. A man of my intelligence can't be made to look ridiculous.
Well, I bet, by the way, I bet that the Chiefs would win. I bet 30,000 on tails, but I hit.
I bet on tails too, Pat. Thanks for the advice.
Hey, I'm an influencer. I influenced you?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I do not have a 166. I do not. I am nowhere near that. That makes me feel pretty good about myself.
I don't blame you. I blame myself for betting on the coin flip.
It's America. You know what I mean? In America, you can bet $30,000 on a coin toss. I mean, that is.
Yeah, but then you hit that ridiculous parlay. That was inspiring. That was tremendous.
See, that's what I'm talking about, though. I bet on that coin toss, and everybody remembers that. People are forgetting the $25,000 parlay I put together. I did think, though, and I think you and I'll be intrigued to hear your thoughts on this. I think that marquee players, right? The reason why they're marquee players, big name players, is because in big moments they make big plays. So yeah. I thought Gronkowski. I'm like, okay, this could. I think Antonio Brown, by the way, big name player. Leonard Fournette. I think this is going to happen, and that was my parlay. I believe in that, especially in the Super Bowl. Do you kind of? It feels like you mostly hate big name players. Is that a misjudgment?
Not at all. In fact. In that Super Bowl, I bet on Gronk and AB to score touchdowns. I just didn't parlay it as wisely as you, or bet big enough to cover betting on Tyreek Hill to be MVP.
Hey, Antonio Brown, touchdown in the Super Bowl.
I hate big name players. I don't. I just believe you have to prove yourself more than social media. I mean, I'm a big Roethlisberger fan, big Crosby fan, big Lemieux fan, but you know, there's certain guys who, like Juju's not a big name player. He's a big name celebrity. He's not a big name player. Who'd he ever beat? You know, it just some guys are overestimated by the marks out there, and I just call them out on it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think that makes me a hater in the least.
Well, I mean, people would say you're a hater, and by the way, that's a whole nother conversation. I don't think so. I think you're
not a hater at all. The people out there, they're too sensitive. They just want to throw rose petals at the feet of their heroes all the time, and I don't buy it. I am not a hater. I'm the voice of truth. On this show, on my show, I am like the Ariel Helwani of everything that Ariel Helwani doesn't talk about.
You ever meet Ariel Helwani? He's an incredible.
Don't know that I want to. I think he and I, in addition to you and your great cast there, I think we are the lifeblood of this program.
Ariel believes that too. I want to let you know. I'll get text messages from Ariel. He believes that as well, which
there's no question. I mean, we are both. What's the word you use? Electric.
Electric.
It's amazing. When Ariel is on your show, my fingertips sizzle. They sizzle, Pat.
He does cut great promos. He had a luchador mask on at one point. I mean, he really brought.
And I don't even like MMA. I just like Ariel.
Well, okay. So, by the way, I see you've kind of tightened the hair up a little bit. You look good today. I just want to let you know.
Oh, I look terrible. I didn't have time to trim my beard. You know what's weird when you get old, Pat? You're not that far off. I'm 60 now. Your hair and your nails grow at an astounding rate. I used to need a haircut like every 6 weeks. Now I go in every 3 weeks, and it's just I'm keeping it the same length. It's just it grows so fast. You know, it grows when you're dead.
Month and a half you used to go in between haircuts. You used to go a month, 6 weeks in between haircuts, Mark?
I used to, yeah. I didn't need to get a cut. It didn't grow nearly as fast.
Congrats on the being able to keep the hair and the nails. I want to talk about star power, though. You talked about Crosby there.
Thank you.
No
Go ahead.
Crosby, I was watching last night, right? And I was trying to explain to my wife, who from Indiana, so no hockey team out here, but she's become a Pens fan. Like, she loves the sport of hockey, like, has enjoyed it. Always try to watch every time the Pens are on national TV. Now, last night it was a little bit difficult because Young Rock was also on. So it was a little bit difficult, you know, at the same time there.
Yeah, real hard decision.
Yeah. Okay. So I was trying to explain Sidney Crosby, though. And I was trying to I was having a conversation with her. I think the NHL let down Sidney Crosby. I think the NHL wasted Sidney Crosby's career. And even Ovechkin, you can get to Ovechkin. Ovechkin's most known by the public that isn't hockey fans because of what he did with the Stanley Cup as opposed to what he does on the ice. Sidney Crosby was LeBron James coming out of high school, basically. This guy is now 13 years into this or however many years into this, and there's a large majority of motherfuckers that have no idea he exists. And I'm like, whose fault? I think it's the NHL's fault. I feel like they potentially mismanaged Sidney Crosby, their superstars' careers, that not enough people have enough respect or knowledge of them.
It's the NHL's fault. It's also just a sad fact that hockey isn't nearly as popular as the other sports. And I'm the biggest hockey fan ever. It's by far my favorite game. I always say it's number 6 among the 4 major sports. It just hasn't clicked beyond its niche audience. And I don't care if it does at this point. Part of the problem is hockey is run by Canadians. Gary Bettman's their New York American lawyer frontman. Okay, but hockey's run by Canadians, and Canadians always want hockey to be a sport where grit means as much as skill. So when you turn on the NHL Network or even NBC Sports, half the guys talking about it are dopes who couldn't play the game, but were just try-hard guys who keep wanting to emphasize the grit. Like Mike Milbury. Mike Milbury would pick on Crosby when he would get roughed up and he would, get frustrated or the team didn't stick up for him. He'd talk about, toughness matters. Crosby has to learn to deal better with that, as opposed to just saying flat out, this guy's the best player in the game and he should be protected. But again, and Milbury's American, ironically, with a Canadian mentality, but hockey just wants to be just as much about grit and skill. And as a result, the skilled guys have never quite gotten the proper credit, the exception being Gretzky, who they protected incredibly. If they protected Lemieux and Crosby and Ovechkin, well, they didn't need to protect Ovi because he's so big and tough, but you get the idea. They just didn't do enough for their stars. You are right on the money with that.
Well, and what about, and I was thinking about this because there was a time where Sid floated by the camera and it was like straight down the line there. He had no bend to his stick, right? Back in the day, when did they make the rule that you couldn't have the fucking hook blade on that thing? I used to have a lacrosse stick down there. I used to be able to whip that thing and it used to go there. When did they make that rule? Because Sid is basically just a flat stick. Has it always been like that in the NHL?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that makes him legendary. Nobody has ever played better on the backhand. Nobody's ever used the other side of the stick better than Sidney Crosby. They had the banana blade in the early 60s because Bobby Hull and Stan Mikita with the Blackhawks, Chicago, they kind of cracked their blade and it just kind of bent naturally. It didn't break, but it bent. And they were screwing around in practice, and they noticed how the puck jumped off that curve when they shot. So they started using torches and sticking the blades under doors and bending them. And then your manufacturer started making them. And then they limited the curve, I think, at one point to a half inch, maybe now a quarter inch. I'm not sure. But that's pretty much, in a nutshell, the tale of the curvature of hockey sticks.
Well, and that's why he was able to do the Michigan on the backhand with that thing because it was a flat stick or whatever. What do you got, Nick?
I hate the Michigan.
Well, if he scores there, it's fucking awesome. And maybe that actually makes a highlight. You know what I mean?
It's showbiz. I mean, no knock on
Sid. Sidney Crosby's too showbiz. Is that what you're saying?
Anything but showbiz, make a hockey play.
He was about to put a puck in the back of the fucking net from behind the fucking net. That's a hockey play.
He didn't.
I mean, it was close to. I mean, that thing was close. And it was a little bit higher up on his stick. It's his backhand. What do you want from the guy?
He's one of the top 5 players ever, as I said, amid some controversy. I don't like when anybody does that play.
Mark, just rewind a little bit. You said you don't bash the big-name guys. What about all the guys on those Buccos all the years you skewered, all the big-name talent they had?
Hold it. The key phrase there is big names. Who are the big names?
Pittsburgh Pirates, Barry Bonds.
Jay Bell.
I'm
Jason Kendall.
Jay Bell.
Oh, you remember Kendall's pop time, guys?
AJ Burnett.
Oh, my God. Was that the guy I was drunk with? Yeah.
I'm a big Barry Bonds fan. Barry Bonds is the greatest baseball player ever.
Yes, sir.
I agree. Both heads.
So I never bashed the Pirates. I mean, on the rare occasion when they have a winning year, I actually acknowledge that. It doesn't happen very often. It won't happen this year. My God, they might lose a $1.10 this year.
All right, Mark, I appreciate you. Thank you for the electricity today, bub.
Was it good? I've been real hard on myself lately.
No, stop being so. Why? You got that little Vegas hangover? You went out there too long. Now you're beating yourself up.
No, I don't know. I mean, I'm old. I'm obviously really popular and really successful, and all that stuff. I got to admit, I look decent today with the semi-flowered shirt like the WCW days. Glasses look good. Like you said, the hair looks good. It's just growing too fast. But even the very greatest, Pat, lacks self-confidence once in a while. But I think, thanks to the therapeutic experience that appearing on your show always is, I think I will leave here in moments a better man.
You're back, baby! Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Madden. Yeah, Mark! Woo! He's the best, dude.
Him refusing to believe Ben is back, too, is hysterical.
They didn't say it.
Do you want me to operate under that assumption?
I will. I will.
You think Juju gets $15 million a year from somebody?
That's what he's saying. I don't know. That's going to be tough, I think, to find. Who else? T.Y.'s out there. Chris Godwin's out there.
AB.
Edelman might be out there. Tony Brown might be out there. Allen Robinson. Galladay.
So many. Marvin Jones also from the Lions.
Juju's only 24. He's going to get paid by somebody a lot of money.
$15 million a year?
15 per, dude.
What's the average right now for wide receivers?
$15 million puts you between 10 and 15 in the league as far as pay for a wide receiver.
Hey, Juju, if you can get it, go get it. Yeah. Go do what you got to do. He loves, by the way, just.
Oh, he's the best at it.
Like, when he puts that top 5 out and he saw the reaction at top 5, I'm excited for Mark Madden's next 20 top 5s that are about to happen. I'm smarter than you. Here's my top 5. And then as soon as somebody disagrees, he's like, all right, here we go. You asked for this, pal. I've been waiting for this. He just goes to war with people on the internet. What's going on, Dick?
Players making 15, Cooper Kupp, Jarvis, Tyler Lockett, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Odell.
So if Juju gets that, all those guys are going to ask for restructure, by the way. All right, let's get to a break. All those guys are going to be like,
hey.
Oh,
TikTok.
We're redoing our contract, right? All right, that's what we're doing immediately. Juju, he might be able to spread his wings and fly, though, somewhere else. Different offense. Another guy out there. Now, granted, the Steelers did have a couple that blossomed this year, and he did make some massive plays for Ben down the stretch there and some big moments. Juju does show up in big moments. Now, granted, he's
very good on the field.
Yeah, he has a couple fumbles. Everybody has that.
Yeah, he does.
He was damn good when AB was on the other side, too.
That's what I'm saying. If you get if he's, this is the Paul George thing. Paul George, whenever he was in Indiana and he was not the number 1 guy, the team was unbelievable going to the finals against the Heat. Paul George was the best he's ever been. Paul George goes Oklahoma City as Russ. He's number 2. Okay, here we go. Paul George becomes number 1 guy. Doesn't work out. Goes to the Clippers now. He's got Kawhi. I don't know how it's working out, but Paul George is like your classic, hey, really fucking unbelievable basketball player. Much better as a number 2 for whatever reason. Juju might be that same guy, hey, for whatever reason, at number 2, he will be able to eat and be a massive weapon for you. Now, if he's at that position, I'm not saying that's always going to be. I think Juju is a talented guy, but if he's at $15 million is going to be tough to get if you're going to be the number 2 guy.
Especially if the cap's going down.
That is going to be a tough thing to get, but maybe he will. The Steelers rarely, it is very rare to see the Steelers really make big-time plays, numerous with the salary cap.
Yeah, they'll pay their guys. They'll normally pay their guys, but they don't go out in free agency or make trades normally, stuff like that.
Well, Minka, they brought in Minka. They'll keep
that was very
hell of a success story there. 30 minutes an hour, 2 here. Big thanks to Mark Madden. What an electric factory he is. We'll be back on the other side with some of your phone calls. 1-888-MAD-DOG-6. Good luck, by the way, because you got to follow Chad from New Orleans and Mark Madden from Pittsburgh. Can't wait to chat with you. That'll be on the other side of this break. This is Wednesday, February 24th, 2021.
I was just checking your availability. If you're in Indianapolis now, did you get to Buffalo?
Yeah, I got a plane that's supposed to take me down to game day anyways, so I could definitely have it go to Buffalo first. How long is the flight from Indy to Buffalo? You can find us a plane for like 4 o'clock. I think that'll be perfect.
The best we can do is depart around 5:30.
Okay, do we have any other, can you find any other planes that can get us out of here earlier than that? I was just asked if I could appear in Buffalo within the next 4 hours to basically do the show on Fox tonight.
Okay, I'll call you back.
You know what I'm asking for?
Yeah.
All right, so he's gonna call Jim Irsay and see if I can just use Jim's jet. He's calling me back shortly, but just start packing.
Hey.
You're the absolute best. Does this sound like a potential yes, you're saying? He's the fucking best. I would be so thankful. Hey, this is really cool. I don't know how many billionaires would do this for people that have worked for them in the past. This is awesome, and I can't thank you guys enough. Can I take a kendo stick to his back?
We'll talk about it when you get here.
All right, I appreciate you, man. Hey, let's break the fucking internet tonight. What a hilarious life. We are live on Fox in 6 hours and 35 minutes. 3 hours of sleep, no clue what the storylines are. Just fucking let the nuts swing, bro. Let's just go out there and have a good time. Plane company. I know. Here we go, boys. All right, we'll talk SmackDown tonight. This is gonna be a night we're gonna look back on and remember. And then we're gonna hop on a plane and head to Memphis for College Game Day. I think this is a joke too. I just want to let you know, like, this is a Truman Show. I very much understand that this is not supposed to happen. I got the text at 1:42 p.m. today from Mr. H that says, "Have you heard there have been some travel issues? Can you make your way to Buffalo?" Jim Irsay, owner of the Colts, literally lent me his plane. Might be the most confident I've ever been into something. I didn't know we were that good of friends, to be honest. I was throwing a Hail Mary, and he responded and said, yeah. So I got here about an hour and a half before the show, and to work with Renee, Tom, and be on SmackDown with a bucket of makeup on my face. This has been a dream come true bucket list type situation here in beautiful Buffalo, New York. Come on, boys, we're going to be on cable.
Joined here by Pat McAfee, replacing our guest commentator Aiden English.
No sleeves in, George. Good to see you.
It feels good here in Buffalo. I got a text from the game, a cerebral WWE official. He said, hey, you might have heard about the travel issues. Can you make it to Buffalo? I said, absolutely. What a magical evening it is, November 1st, 2019. I mean, let's be honest. The Marine was a heathen. You know what I mean? I mean, he's a great actor. He was great on The Real World. He was great on all of that.
Oh.
Tegan, no! That's how they do it in NXT, baby. Almost took me out holding another grown lady in the air.
November 1st, 2019, greatest SmackDown in the history of SmackDown.
Pat, you joining us? It might absolutely be correct the way things have gone here tonight.
SmackDown in the history of SmackDowns, November 1st, 2019. It's documented. I had a good time out there, man. I had no idea what was happening, so it was really just natural reaction to everything. It was awesome, dude. That's a real bucket list thing. Game day bucket list, this is like complete bucket list. 2 in 1 week. Oh yeah. Got a horseshoe shoved up my ass and a horseshoe owner lending us a plane. Are you kidding me, dude?
Every day is game day for these guys. It's showtime on the Pat McAfee Show.
You ready?
Welcome back to said show.
1, 2.
Sex is cool, but have you ever tried built-in underwear?
Ooh, the best.
Everyone knows Bird Dogs has shorts, but now they make pants. They stole Lululemon's designer, now they're just doing it better. Bird Dogs are pants, but they have the underwear already built in. They look exactly like your best pair of pants, but feel like silky soft pajamas.
Oh, man.
There are work pants, golf pants, workout pants, happy hour pants, chill pants, sleep pants, you name it pants. Bird Dogs pants are all-terrain pants ready for any situation because they are the most comfortable pants you've ever worn in your entire life.
Oh, yeah. Damn swimming pants if you want.
If you want to. I mean, I don't know who would be swimming with pants unless you get your shins burnt in Florida and it already peels like you look like a goddamn snake after one weekend of burn. Maybe put the pants on to protect that thing. But they have different colors, different designs, so you can literally dress them up or Dress him down, dude.
Wow. This is Daft Punk?
This is Mark Maxwell Jr. One Night, by the way.
Sounds like Jamiroquai.
Not 100% sure who that is, but
Bangers.
I still say it's Adam Levine.
This guy's really good.
Hey, he's got some Bruno Mars in him, too.
You don't remember Jamiroquai?
Let me hear it.
What's his name?
Let me hear it.
I can't put a...
Mark Maxwell
Jr. This song's called One Night. It's the only one he has on this particular platform that we use. But it's a heater.
He's going platinum with this.
He should be wearing bird dogs, by the way.
Yeah.
Right now, go to birddogs.com. Enter promo code PAT, and they'll throw in a free pair of nunchucks. Yes, you heard that right. Nunchucks. You'll get an actual murder weapon alongside with your pair of bird dogs. Birddogs.com, promo code PAT. Boom, free pair of nunchucks with your pair of bird dogs. You will not take these things off. We promise you. Shout out to Mark Maxwell Jr., dude.
Yeah.
This song is a banger. Indiana kid.
Really good.
Is his dad
Mark Maxwell Sr.? He's actually...
Dr. Jazz?
I don't know.
Excuse me?
I know his dad is a firefighter and a police officer.
So maybe.
Oh, wow.
There's a Mark Maxwell, a.k.a. Dr. Saxlove.
I'll tell you what.
Who's a smooth jazz sax.
I would not put it past me if Officer Maxwell was formerly
Dr. Saxlove.
I would not put it past me.
Can see him now crushing it in the
my God.
firehouse.
That guy's the best. That guy's dad is the best officer I've ever encountered in my entire life.
Couple run-ins with him.
Couple. You know, I drive a little bit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I drive a little bit. Sometimes I get going a little bit. Always to make moves around very dangerous situations.
Of course.
He has caught me making a move around a dangerous situation where I potentially was speeding a little bit too much. And he did give me a warning, which is very nice of him.
Good guy.
But then I ran into him again at a gas station. I remembered him because of how hilarious he was during said warning. Because anytime I've ever had an encounter with an officer of the law, pre-Officer Maxwell here,
yeah,
worst possible punishment you can get every single time. Public intoxication, shackled. Okay, speeding, max. Every single time I've had a run in West Virginia, I'm walking down the street, minor in consumption, plus potential putting you on a sex offenders list forever because we heard you took a pee down there. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, every interaction I've ever had with officer of the law, the strongest whatever punishment you can get. By the way,
everyone's pissing down here.
Everyone's pissing down. And then, by the way, they just kind of said, like, yeah, you're pissing. And it's like, yeah,
Probably.
Good guess, by the way. It probably was. You know what I mean? But the whole thing, and that all got obviously eliminated, that you just had to pay $50. It was basically just Morgantown's way of saying, hey, you owe us $50 because you're doing what you got to do. Now go and get out of here or whatever. And I did get asked about that by NFL teams or whatever. I was coming out of the NFL about that particular situation, about being a minor in consumption or whatever. I'm like, you should have heard what they wanted to put on me because they heard I had peed or whatever. But that thing expunged completely, whatever. My only time ever having a positive experience with an officer of the law, and I'm talking about in a situation where, you know, I had potentially broken the law or whatever, was with Officer Maxwell. Gave me a warning, run into him. I love this man. Learn more and more about him. Firefighter as well, this whole thing. And fan of the show. So that's good news.
Hell of a dad, too, if his kid's making songs like that.
By the way, he produces the song, everything. That's him, the entire thing. Junior at Ball State, chirp, chirp. Hope he does well.
Wow.
Shout out to his dad, like real life cool dude. He didn't want to be a part of Live PD the last time I talked to him because Live PD is in my area.
Yeah.
And I was like, how'd you feel about Live PD? You know, because as a resident of Lawrence, every time Lawrence was shown on Live PD, I did not know we had all these motherfucking zombies walking around. Okay, we got just zombies on Live PD. Let's go back to Lawrence, Indiana. They got another one. It's just like somebody like just rolling out of a terrible situation or whatever, you know. And I learned a lot about the town that I lived in from Live PD or whatever, you know. And I asked him about it. He was like, yeah, it's not really my thing just to pick people up. Like, there are guys that do that. My thing is not really. I'm trying to make, you know, do my thing. I'm like, well, I think you're hilarious, though. Like, I wish they would have got you mic'd up on that.
Yeah.
Thing. Because one of his statements to me was, you still got that Bentley? Let me have that. That was one of our interactions, and I just started dying laughing. Big thank you to Officer Maxwell for what he do to the town that I live in and also the town that our office is moving to, by the way.
Thank you, officer.
Thank you. And thank you to this kid for making a fucking banger right now.
Thank you, Junior.
And if you got any more, need them to be put on this particular platform because that's the only thing we could play. Let's go to Brakefield in South Carolina. Interesting name. What's going on, Brakefield?
What's up, Pat McAfee Show?
Hey, your name's Brakefield?
Hell yeah, man.
That's an unbelievable name. Wow. Okay, I want to let you know, Brakefield. What do you want to talk about, pal?
Man, I got two things. First thing's going to be pretty negative. Second thing will be positive, I promise.
Okay.
First thing, David Temper, the Panthers owner, he fucking sucks. He's from Pittsburgh. Why don't y'all come down here, take him back to Pittsburgh, and throw him in the back of Tiger Woods' SUV next time, all right?
Can't even get to your positive because you too soon.
Went too far.
Too soon, too far. Break. Look in the mirror. Come back later. All right, Brakefield? What a toxic call that was from South Carolina.
How did his parents name him Brakefield?
Well, the thing was, they used to draft fast. You know what I mean? And they're like, we need to be reminded.
His last name starts with an S. He's in a bad situation, my friend.
Go on.
BFS.
Jeez. Which also is Big Fat Stooge, obviously, which we are not referring to for Brakefield there, but too soon for that particular deal.
Yeah, can't do it.
Tepper did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. I thought Panthers fans would enjoy Tepper because he's come down and been like, hey, I'm invested now. Let's go ahead and do this thing. We're conversating with fucking Deshaun Watson right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he liked the old owner, Jerry Richardson, and all the good he did if you look into his background a little bit.
That seems like Brakefield's thing.
It's not like the Panthers are a prized franchise or anything.
Bill Polian did take him to the Super Bowl way back in the day.
But other than that, you know what I mean? Like, he's done well. He brought in Rule. He's trying to get Deshaun Watson, paid Teddy.
Now, they did not have success last season, but everybody said there's promise with Matt Rule. They're in the NFC South. That place seems to be only getting better. It is going to be a tough go for the next 3 years, however long Tom wants to play at least. Sean Payton, whatever quarterback they figure out having down there. Matt Ryan, Julio, I guess, sticking around in Atlanta, still a problem down there. The NFC South is not an easy place, but I would assume that you would like a guy that would come in, owner that would come in and try to shake it up a little bit. Maybe Brakefield's like, nah, this guy stinks or whatever.
Might be a big McCaffrey fan, doesn't want to see him leaving town.
Yeah, well, we hung up on him too quick to tell him, like, hey, I don't think that's him saying I'm sending McCaffrey out of town. That's potentially media trying to spin up a way for the Panthers to be able to afford Deshaun Watson over there. Now, a lot of Seahawks fans commented on our YouTube video talking about the Russell Wilson potential trade, talking about how he has a no-trade clause in his contract and everything like that. He can waive that.
Yep.
Deshaun Watson can waive that. Nowadays, anything that you see as a contract, just like most things in this world, probably bullshit. Okay? Like, that's just... there used to be a day where prenups were a thing. Those aren't real anymore. Like those things don't exist anymore. They do, but they don't hold up.
Still don't matter.
Yeah, still don't matter. Contracts in the NFL now, we're realizing every single day, they don't matter. Guys can get cut out of nowhere after getting signed and make no money. Guys can be like, I don't want to be here anymore and move. I mean, this is the world we're in now, is everything's negotiable, which, by the way, can be good and can be bad, I'd assume. I'm not leaning either way. So a lot of Seattle Seahawks fans were like, well, he has a no-trade clause. And then a lot of Seattle Seahawks fans in the comments were like, Seattle Seahawks aren't going to trade Russell Wilson, which, by the way, we were cemented in that particular stance as well because Russell Wilson is a dude, just like we said Houston Texans don't have to move on from Deshaun. But then a report came out that the starting asking price is at least 3 first rounds. It's like, well, where did that... Is Russell Wilson, is Team 3 making up what the asking price would be? We're like, no, somebody within the organization. Now, this could be complete bullshit from Mike Silver. He could have just made this up completely. We're not 100% sure. I would assume somebody told Mike Silver, though, and the price for Wilson starts at 3 first-round draft picks. Okay, so they're at least potentially listening. We're just observing and reporting, pal, okay? And I get yelled at because we don't cover a lot of Seahawks over around here. And that's potentially because, we do have some harsh feelings towards Russell Wilson as a person in the room normally. T's and P's to Ty right now, by the way, battling. Miss you, Ty. But I don't think anything's serious, by the way. I'm not 100% sure.
Standard.
He sounded pretty upbeat when I talked to him last night.
And I did ask him to read a 4-chapter article on ESPN. He said he would do that, and he sent me back a bunch of things. But Russell Wilson getting moved would be insane. And the fact that they're saying 3 first-rounders, it's like, all right, maybe they're even considering it. Now you have to think for Deshaun Watson, what's it going to be, 3 first-rounders? Is it a player and 2 other first-rounders if that player is a first-round caliber person? And maybe that's why the media said Christian McCaffrey is obviously a first-rounder still with 2 players. Maybe they make the play. But I don't know why, if you're trying to build a team, you're bringing in Deshaun Watson, like, hey, we're going to go on and get Deshaun Watson, why you would just unload a top 10 player in the NFL and Christian McCaffrey. But, hey, maybe that'll happen. And who knows if Seattle will move on from Russ. That team potentially stinks for, I don't know, the next 5-10 years if Russell Wilson isn't their quarterback. Or they could rebuild with the 3 first-rounders and make another great team.
Guy like McCaffrey, too, you got to assume he's worth maybe 2 first-round picks because of everything he can do between catching the ball and running the ball.
So maybe Christian McCaffrey goes to Seattle, and Russell Wilson and Christian McCaffrey and a 1 go to Seattle for Russell Wilson in return because their running backs get hurt. Now, Christian McCaffrey did get hurt last year, but he's not going to this year.
No,
right?
no.
And he went to Stanford, which is
Pacific
in
Northwest, yeah.
And the NFC West is a
Big
good
tree
division,
guy.
too. Like, if the Seahawks start 0-2 and Russ is already pissed, you know what I mean?
It's only going to get louder.
With Stafford now.
Does Team 3 have a Snapchat or a Twitter or anything?
Team.
Because we should get official statements from the chef and the landscape and the body guru.
I'd be surprised if Earnhardt Sr. didn't already have Team 3 copyrighted.
Have you seen that E60 yet with McGee?
Marty and McGee?
Not Marty. Okay, Marty's
just McGee.
Just McGee.
E60 Intimidator, worth a watch.
I'm going to.
You were on vacation, I think, whenever the day after I saw it.
Is the Rainbow Warrior in there?
He does make an appearance in there, but it's worth it.
Mark Martin did it?
I don't remember Mark Martin, but I do know that Dale Earnhardt, when he crashed.
Valvoline car, come on.
Yeah, number 6, Valvoline.
Valvoline.
Who cares? Buddy, used it this weekend. I was so happy. I was so happy. Gonna need to use that again.
Good watch, though?
Huh?
Good watch, though?
Definitely.
Okay, I'm in.
As you know, because that was right after Daytona too, and I was kind of dialing in. You know, Mitch McDowell gets a big dub. My guy KY almost wins that thing. Couple accidents. Here we go. I'm gonna watch racing, and street course thing happened. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I was in that I'm going to get into NASCAR feel. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get into it. And I watched that E60, and McGee crushed it, obviously. But the story of Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator, was very interesting to watch. I didn't know anything about it. In the way he was blocking for his kid. Mm-hmm. That's like the coolest thing of all time, right?
Yeah,
like that's. And he talked about if he was to die in a lot of the interviews, if he is to die in a car crash, like, know that I was doing what made me happy.
Change the sport. They reinforced the barriers. They changed everything.
Yeah, the Hans.
And the
Hans, the head and neck support thing, which he, in the old school NASCAR driver, said, I can't feel the car with that thing on, so we ain't doing it. And we're like, well, every death is happening because whenever you crash, the whiplash of your head is leaving. I'm not saying it, but Joe Burrow, like, almost.
Yeah.
And whenever your head leaves there, something snaps at the bottom. If we created something here that keeps your head with your body so that won't happen anymore, and they're like, we ain't doing it. Basically. All the old OGs on NASCAR were like, we ain't doing it. And then Dale Earnhardt passes, obviously, from that same thing, and they changed the rules immediately after that, and then there has been 0 deaths since because of that. So Dale Earnhardt has probably saved tens of lives in NASCAR, and then the way he went out is just like, I would assume, I don't know what everybody believes in for after you pass away, but if you were to interview the Intimidator, he would probably say, I was protecting my kid and doing what it was probably, like watching that E60, it was pretty fascinating. It was very, very cool. Almost got emotional at the end, to be honest with you.
I mean, that whole situation, setting that up is wild, that was what's going on.
I'm getting soft, though. You know what I mean? I'm getting soft. Yeah.
No.
I watched that Tiger Woods doc on HBO. By the end of it, I was like crying or whatever. I ain't never do that.
It's a sad story.
No, it was a cool story, actually. When he hugged his son, Charlie, with his dad, the whole thing. He's going to have another one of those, by the way, 8-9 months from now. Look for Tiger to win a golf tournament. Won't be a major, I don't think.
I mean, even if he just plays.
He'll win at Augusta again.
How about Alex Smith, by the way? Speaking of incredible comeback stories, like 17 surgeries, damn near death, has a hamstring as a shin. He had this thing on him that looked like that scary movie where the guy's head had the thing, whatever, the brace that they had on his leg there for a long time it looked like Alex Smith obviously had no chance. He comes back and plays, comeback player of the year. incredibly inspirational. The Washington football team almost won a playoff game, not with Alex Smith, but with Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke almost beat Tom Brady and Buccaneers this year, by the way. Put them on the ropes or whatever. But the Alex Smith story is one where it's like, okay, we're all incredibly happy for Alex. This is inspirational. He does this interview with GQ, and I've never read a GQ article ever in my entire life. Shout out me with the nunchucks, by the way. Bro, good Pat. Shout out me, by the way. But in the GQ article, there's only 2 quotes that are being leaked from this article. Now, we could read the article, but we have a lack of effort to do that at this particular time, especially with everything else that is going on. But the 2 quotes that basically have made waves is Alex Smith, comeback player of the year, saying, Washington didn't want me on the team, the roster, didn't want to give me a chance. It's like getting this close to the end line of a marathon. It's the finish line, but he said end line. The end line of a marathon, and they're telling you that you can't finish the race. It's like, fuck that, I'm finishing this thing. So the story, and hopefully they filmed all this for the inevitable long documentary that comes out, not just the ESPN special. I would assume at some point the Washington football team was like, Alex, come on. Like, this is going to be impossible for you to get back out there. And the fire from Alex saying, no, I'm fucking doing this. And then his first game, he gives Aaron Donald a piggyback ride. Yeah. I assume that was a pretty big moment for everybody. So as we were watching along with Alex Smith going, it seems like the Washington football team was also going, and then whenever he gets a chance to get in there, he does his thing. I mean, incredible story, but I always thought it was like storyboard, behind there, like a storybook, like, oh, come on, we want you to do this, here we go, this is how it's going to go. Instead, it sounds like there was a little bit of like, Alex, you got a hamstring for a shin right now, like, let's have it. And Alex is like, nah, fuck you, dude, how about that, I'm going to come do it. Awesome, I'm so happy for it. Look for a similar situation. Hopefully not 17 surgeries, infection, potential death, and everything like that. But these inspirational comebacks, the amount of pain that rehab is, the amount of time commitment, the life-altering rehab for these injuries that happen basically after every single season is something you don't see a lot of. It is miserable. I've had nowhere near what Alex or Tiger are going through, but in my own right with my knees, people don't talk about it. The Alex Smith story, awesome. The Tiger one's going to be really cool, too, I think, about 8-9 months.
Well, before the season started, when they brought in Kyle Allen, it was like, okay, they have the Ron Rivera connection, but they already had Dwayne Haskins and Alex Smith. Like, why would they bring in a third QB? And, I mean, clearly it was because they didn't really want Alex Smith to play.
By the way, Taylor Heineke was a backup in the XFL.
He was sitting there.
Let's get to a phone call here before this hour ends, shall we? Let's go to Zach in Pennsylvania. What's going on, Zach?
Hey, Pat, how's it going? Shout out to the boys.
Zach, shout out to you, pal. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I saw the J.J. Watt tweet yesterday. You guys see it?
The mitochondria?
Powerhouse.
Yeah. Is he heading the Bills?
Whoa. What do you think? The internet's the best, dude. So awesome. And by the way, what if JJ is right now doing that? Like, what if that was some, cryptic tweet about where he's headed to give out mitochondria, has same amount of letters as Buffalo Bills. Ooh. He's going to Bills. Then I saw some people tweeting that, mitochondria, I think, is normally displayed as a green color. So maybe he's going to Green Bay Packers. Then I saw people thinking that other words, the amount of words that he had in there is for the amount of win, like the whole thing. I mean, there's a lot of confusion around the mitochondria tweet from J.J. Watt, but J.J. Watt's name is going to be a hot one for, I don't know, the next month or so until we figure out where he's going. It seems like he would go to Tampa. And that's just, is if I'm J.J. Watt, I'm thinking to myself, who needs my type of position? Who can I get into a rotation with at the defensive line? Who has won a Super Bowl? Who has no state taxes? Who has Tom Brady as a quarterback, got a quarterback? It seems like that would be the move. But J.J. Watt with his brothers in Pittsburgh is obviously a great storyline. Him going to Buffalo with the team that they've built is a great storyline. Kansas City, Green Bay back home. And that's a conversation until it all ends. But I would like to say, I'm on record saying he's going to Tampa. J.J. Watt's going to Tampa Bay. And I don't know what mitochondria has to do with it, but fucking hey, there's probably mitochondria down there in Tampa as well.
Tom is the powerhouse of the cell.
Pliability is fucking with the mitochondria of the cells in your muscles. So that's probably what that meant now that I think about it.
Take it another step further, mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell. Who's the powerhouse of the NFL? Tampa Bay right now because they are the Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, but people would say Kansas City also powerhouse. Is he talking about powerhouse in Kansas City? And are the mitochondria because it's colder in Kansas City and they got barbecue up there? Are they different than the TB12 Tampa mitochondria that are down there? And what about the Pittsburgh mitochondria? Those are gritty, grimy Pittsburgh mitochondria.
The love for his brothers is the powerhouse of his heart.
Yeah, bingo. That's what you got to think about.
His wife, actually.
There is a C in mitochondria as well. Kansas City has a C in it.
Yeah, and you can't spell RAM. We said this yesterday without
mitochondria.
Richard Altman found mitochondria, discovered it. He's from Germany, so that might be something as well.
He's playing in the Bundesliga next year.
There's a Claude. No, not a Claude. A Hofbrauhaus in Pittsburgh, isn't there? That's pretty German.
And the German flag has
Down
black
Southside works.
and yellow in the flag.
Yes, it does. And a little red like the hypocycloid.
Whoa.
It's a good question, Zach.
Oh, the hot dog was made in Germany.
Oh, Chicago.
Holy shit, he's going to Chicago.
That's where his wife is.
Shut up.
But how long will she be there?
True.
She might get traded.
What's her contract?
You know what I mean? We need to look at her contract.
Looks good, yeah.
Anyways,
We're letting her go.
this show is the worst show. But shout out to the guys in prison that are watching. We appreciate you. Good luck in there. I don't know what you did, but you're innocent, dude. Hour 2 is wrapped up. We'll see you on the other side. If something happens one time, anomaly. Happens 2 times, it's like, oh, okay, maybe. But whenever there's a trend of 18 plus, 20 plus things being predicted, you got to go like, hey, Groening, the gig's up. We know. You're a time traveler.
Just tell us.
Bro, I just want to talk to you. I got so many questions. Siegfried and Roy tiger attack. Do you remember that?
Of course.
Do you remember back in the day how tight Siegfried and Roy were with their tigers? It was like every main story was like, oh, these tigers are the best behaved animals on earth, blah, blah, blah. Simpsons in 1993 said the tiger is going to turn. This little friendly tiger is going to become an enemy of Siegfried and Roy quickly, and it's going to happen. 2003, it actually happened. Autocorrect errors, 1994. Before you could even play Snake on the gray little box phone, they predicted that autocorrect will happen on your phone. Are you kidding me? Didn't happen until 2007. FaceTime, 1995. Not even a thought. I don't even know if anybody knew what the fuck the internet was.
Oh, that's that little mark with the A and then the ring around it.
At.
See, that's what I said.
Mm-hmm. No,
What is internet anyway?
In 1995, they said, don't worry, you'll be carrying around a device where you will be face-to-face with somebody on the opposite side of Earth. 1995, they said that. 2010, it happened. Faulty voter machines. 2008, they predicted it. 2012, it became the forefront of conversation in a big, big way. I assume these voter machines have been up in question for a long, long time, but they just knew that it was going to come to fruition in 2012.
No, I want to vote for Obama.
2 votes for McCain.
Come on, it's time for a change.
3 votes for McCain.
The God particle. Now, this is the big one. Ty Schmidt did research. He said the God particle is the absolute reason why he is 1,000% a time traveler. Homer Simpson got up there like fucking Matt Damon in that movie where they have that
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting, and draws up this equation for what the God particle is, what is the God particle?
Yeah, it's basically this equation that essentially like explains how the universe was created.
And they did that in 1998, and the exact equation happens in 2012.
That's unheard of.
14 years ahead of time. They got Homer Simpson up there looking like that goddamn janitor from Harvard, solving equations up on a chalkboard, and 14 years later, it's like, yeah, that's actually how the universe was founded. It's like, wait a fucking minute, little comedy writer with a goddamn yellow cartoon, bro. That's insane. The NSA spying scandal. Everybody knew that the Patriot Act was like in existence, but nobody had a clue that NSA literally knows everything about you. Every dick you've sent has been seen by some government agency, but it wasn't always like that. We didn't know that everything was getting spied on, Sean. Nobody knew that.
I didn't know.
They predicted that in 2007, 2013 it happened.
No, Lisa, it's not like the government is listening to everybody's conversation.
Smartwatches, 1995, they said it would happen. 2014, they came to fruition. America's Ebola outbreak, 1997, they said it. 2014. Do you remember when Ebola hit? It was literally
hospitals like shutting down.
Oh, they had people wearing like hazmat suits, carrying people around because they were scared Ebola was possible. In the modern world, this was happening. Years and years and years and years ago, Matt Groening said this is going to happen.
The FIFA corruption scandal, 2014, they called it. 2015, it came all crashing down. Everybody knew they were getting their pockets greased, making decisions, sending a World Cup to a goddamn desert. Matt Groening said it's going to happen. It happened. Greece's debt default, 2012, they called it. 2015, it happened. So many countries out there, by the way.
They picked Greece.
The exact country to happen. Trump's presidency, 2000, they called it. 2016, it came to fruition. The Simpsons called this President Trump out there, and everybody probably looked at, those Simpsons guys are so funny. Bang, 16 years later, it is about to happen. It goes down. Lady Gaga Super Bowl halftime show, 2012, they called it. 2017. I mean, I think we all knew that she was born this way. She would probably get the halftime show at some point, but to the details that they had. These are not coincidences. Coincidenci. I don't know how you pronounce it.
How the fuck do they know this stuff?
It's
got to be time traveler.
Matt Groening is a time traveler. I have so many fucking questions. Disney's takeover of Fox, 1998. They said it. 2017, it happens. The Shard in London, which is a building behind Big Ben, I guess. Is that right?
Apparently, that's what Google search said.
1995, 2009, it comes to fruition. Robot Librarians, 95, they called it. 2016, it happens. The censorship of Michelangelo's David, 1990, 2016, it happened. Three-eyed fish from the fucking nuclear waste place.
In Japan.
Three-eyed fish comes to fruition in 2001. Matt Groening did it in 1990. 9/11. 9/11. They called that happening. If you do recall planes going into buildings, they said it in 1997, 2001, it happens. The Syrian uprising, everything that's going on in the Middle East has all been talked about on The Simpsons. And then he created another show called Futurama. That is huge. He created another show like, listen, here's me rubbing it in the face that's where I could go if I have to. I have so many questions for Matt Groening, and guess what, Matt Groening? The gig's up. We know. I'm all in on you, Matt. And I'm a fan, by the way, aren't we? We're big fans.
I'm a huge fan.
If you want to travel to future me or current me or past me and say what's up, I think we would all be appreciated.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
You're damn right. Hour 3 here on this beautiful Wednesday, February 24th, 2021. We'll begin immediately following this beat drop from a gentleman named Twine. Thank you, Twine. Right on time. Ooh, that rhymed.
Wow.
What a sign. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is a college football national champion and a Super Bowl champion. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. Yeah! AJ, what up, dude?
What's going on? Hey, I saw some of Mark Madden interview. That was good. I enjoyed him.
I'll tell you what. There are a lot of people sending tweets about Mark Madden every time he comes on the show. A lot of people get upset with me for having him on the show. But if you watch that and you don't think to yourself, hey, that's an entertaining son of a bitch right there. I think you're doing life wrong. All right. I think you're doing that. He looked good today. The hair was slicked back. Ooh. I mean, he was feeling himself, AJ. I appreciate him coming on. Eddie Olczyk will be joining us here in about 21 minutes. Obviously, hockey legend, player, coach. And I believe he had to battle against stage 4 cancer just like a year or two ago. He's on the other side of it. Can't wait to talk about, hockey with him. AJ, we talked about this in the first hour. It's 42 minutes, the estimated reading time for this article. I don't know if you get a chance to see. We talked about it a little bit. It was about the NFLPA and Drew Brees. Basically stole the show there at the end because there were some alarming numbers being put out for the amount of money that Drew was potentially getting paid from the NFLPA. He said it's from the players. DeMaurice Smith said it's from Players Inc. But anyways, this whole thing. The NFLPA, and I'm not asking about the article in itself because it's 42 minutes. I'm going to assume you didn't read it, but I don't know if you did or saw it. The NFLPA is something that, I hated whenever I was in the NFL. I fucking hated. I did not. I appreciate the work that they had done. You see, what had happened, what they did in the past, and they show like this video it's like a propaganda video before every meeting, basically like, back in the day, there was rats running around the locker room and the NFLPA came in and said, hey, you're going to have at least one mop in every locker room. And, they tell this propaganda of everything that they've done and helped out players. And I agree that they have. And the NFLPA, I believe, serves a purpose or whatever. But there's a lot of shit that they would do. And I'm like, this isn't what we're looking for. When you were playing, how was your relationship with the NFLPA, the Green Bay Packers relationship? Because I feel like a lot of guys felt the way I felt, but everybody's like, it's not worth the time to even fucking change it. And when we talked to Aaron last year, he was like, he became an NFLPA rep, which, by the way, my first time, I was like, I did not expect you to be a rep or whatever. And he even said, like, I'm trying at this point. The NFLPA is such an interesting thing. It is a very, very interesting thing. And this article, I do believe, I'm going to read it tonight. They say estimated 42. I've never read a book in my life, so that's going to be 2-3 hours for me to get through that fucking thing, but I'm going to give it a go. The NFLPA, anytime more information comes out about it, the more and more I'm like, yeah, I think I was right with the way I felt about that whole thing.
I think how you feel is how a lot of guys in the NFL feel. I think most players don't ever really think about the PA. They don't really think about what their role could be in the union. And I that's exactly how I was, especially early in my career. I never thought of it. I'm like, okay, they're going to come in and talk to us. We've seen what they have done. Yes, they did a lot of great things for players, and they continue to try to do that as well. But man, there's huge communication issues, I think, from the top down. And I know it's not an easy gig to try to get everybody in the league on the same page and get them invested. Most guys don't really care. They just want their $10,000 Madden check that used to come at the end of those meetings once a year. But I just think the article that you're talking about, yeah, I saw it. It's the fact, I think they said Drew Brees got a total of $9 million over whatever span of time they're talking about. And they come back and they say, well, no, Drew's agent and DeMaurice Smith say, no, this is from Players Inc., jersey merchandise sales. I'm like, all right, I don't know, man. It just seems like something's up, especially since Drew was DeMaurice's one of his biggest supporters throughout the process.
And I skimmed through, and I had Ty. Ty has sent me a bunch of. Ty has read it, and as we've gone to break, I've tried to scroll through, and Ty being like, hey, this happened. And by the way, shout out to Ty. Always good to have a friend that was accepted to Harvard who can break down shit like this whenever you need it or whatever. That's my first time, by the way, ever having that friend. My friend Reed in college, I guess he would have also been that particular person, but I was drunk every night, so I wasn't really asking him those questions. But Ty is that guy. It seems like, now there has to be a reason this article was written, right? Like, who's writing this? Why is this happening or whatever? But the NFLPA, and I think we paid more attention to it whenever the CBA negotiations were happening, before they happened and after they happened. And I think it's because nobody likes to talk about it, because the information you're getting is from the NFL, and you have to have a good relationship with the NFL. And the NFLPA normally has scattered different things, so it's tough to cover. The NFLPA is very important to the well-being of future athletes or future players and everything like that. They've dropped the ball on that mightily. I think everybody has realized that. A lot of people blame the NFL, which, by the way, I think you could definitely point some fingers at the NFL for not taking care of retired players as much as they probably should, knowing for the fact with what the stats are both medically and financially for retired players. The NFL should have, said hey, we'll step up and do this, but it's really the NFLPA's job. And I think when I started asking questions in those meetings that you're referring to, where you get the Madden check at the end of, you could tell they were not happy I was asking a question. Okay, my teammates were not happy I was asking a question either. It's like, Pat, we've been here since fucking 6:30 this morning, okay? They always do it on your longest work day. It's like a Wednesday, longest work day, after practice, and at the end of this meeting, you're getting your Madden check. So they set it up so nobody asks any questions, right? It is, now granted, that might not be their intent, but it seemed like that was it every single time. And I would always ask a question, and then the answer would just be so stupid. It's like, all right, I'm not even fucking. And then when I was in the substance of abuse policy or program, and I needed somebody to look out for me because I was getting abused with this drug testing was supposed to go down, I didn't get a text for 3 months later, and they're like, you good? I'm like, fuck you. Then they started selling boomstick shirts. Fanatics started selling boomstick shirts, which was a marketing thing basically that was created by my Twitter followers on my social media. And I'm like, I started seeing these shirts pop up on the internet with Pat Boomstick McAfee, and it's NFLPA certified. I'm like, awesome. How much money am I making off? Oh, yeah, you're getting 2.5% of that. I'm like, oh, fucking great. Okay, so you just gave away basically all my shit. This is a great deal. Hey, just trying to keep the income coming or revenue. I'm like, oh, thank you. I fucking appreciate that. Thanks for making that deal for me, So I actually did not sign to join the NFLPA the last 2 years of my career, and I did not go to those meetings. I just got fucking fed up with them. I'm like, all right, fuck these dudes.
Well, so let's go back to the money that was paid out to Drew Brees. Does that come from the players? Is that your dues? Is it part of it?
They're saying it was from his jersey sales and everything like that, right? But they do have, every time they came to those meetings, I don't know how many people were there for you. We had like 6 people were representing the union, and this guy does this person does this. I'm like, I appreciate all that. Who's paying all these motherfuckers? And why is this is where, what do you do? What do you do at the end of the day? The whole, there's just like, I just, because it is my money and I didn't have a 3-hour practice where I had to run my head into somebody. When we got into those meetings, I would see things, and I feel like I've always kind of had an entrepreneurial spirit. I feel like I've always wanted to kind of do my thing. So when I'm seeing these decisions get made, like deferred bonuses, you remember when they did that player performance bonus, which is a bonus that is given to the players if they outperform their contract. So a lot of younger guys get this. If you have more snaps than expected with your contract, the player performance bonus is to be given to you to kind of make up for it. Normally, people that are getting big player performance bonuses, by the way, don't have big money. Okay, this is for people. They were like, oh, we're going to defer these payments a couple years because we're looking out for you. And a lot of guys were like, fuck, like I need this money. Like, who's making these? So I had a lot of questions, but I never was a rep. So I'm basically like the people, that
don't vote. You're like the people that complain about politics but didn't vote.
Which, I mean, yeah, that is pretty much very similar. So I chose not to sign up for it.
But don't you think it's because it does feel like, all right, it's overwhelming to think about going in there and trying to make a change? It's probably like anything in politics or whatever, like, all right, for me to truly make a change, what needs to happen? Like massive amounts of work, massive amounts of time. The one thing the NFLPA definitely has going for them right now, the head of the players part of the PA is J.C. Treader, who I played with in Green Bay. Super smart Ivy League guy, I think. And he's actually, he is not in bed with the owners or anybody. He feels like he absolutely is looking out for the players.
We need more of that. So like the NBA, the NBPA completely changed when Chris Paul got in there, and then all the big name players started doing it, right? Like all the big name players. In the NFL, it's not like that. Like there are some big name guys, and I like that. And it almost gets like shunned upon the big name guys going in there because they're like, oh, you're not relatable to the lower. They almost pin like the successful players. Again, you see BA doing it now, kind of. BA's like, of course, the vets don't want to have fucking practice. They don't want these young guys to take their job. But in the PA, they're always like, well, if we get too many rich guys in there, they don't know what it's like to be a young guy, which is true. And I can understand that. They might be past it. But if they're rich, they've been in the NFL a long time. By the way, they've probably seen the way things operate now, unless they're just the most selfish motherfuckers on earth, which they could be, I guess. I think the people that have been around, they probably have a little bit more influence maybe on the NFL as well, if they're going into negotiations. And there's no offense to anybody that I was teammates with that went and become a rep, not a lot of high tier guys that do it. They serve and everything like that. But I feel like if the NFLPA was to ever really do a dent or win any of these negotiations, and first of all, you got to take care of retired players because every player is going to be a retired. That was one of my questions, by the way. That was one of my. That was maybe the first moment when I was like, oh, I fucking hate these people. I go, should we not maybe think about taking care of retired players? And this is Vinatieri's big thing. Vinatieri is an executive member, right? And Vinatieri's like, hey, ask about retired players. Like, this is a big deal. And Vinny was the first one to really tell me, because it makes sense after you're told it, but Vinny's like, we're all going to be retired players at some point. So it's like, this is something we should care about or whatever. So I ask about it. And the one guy who wasn't DeMaurice Smith gives an answer, like, hey, we got to get ours, okay? They can take care of theirs. We got to get ours. And I was immediately like, well, it is ours because we are going to be retired players or whatever. And they're like, we got to take care of ours. They got to take care of theirs. And it was like, next question. I'm like, okay. So we got 80% of guys going broke. All right. We got terrible medical shit popping off. We got all this stuff. Should we not focus about that? And it's like, we got to get ours. It's like, oh, so you aren't looking out for who you're supposed to be looking out for. And I've just always, now granted, I'm a pretty anti-authority human, always have been. I don't like a lot of people speaking for me, and making moves. Like that is something I've always been, so that might add into it. But man, it felt like for a long time it was just a bunch of bullshit. That's why I'm legitimately excited to read a 42-minute fucking article. And I want to know who wrote it, how they wrote it, why'd they write it, who's getting buried, who's trying to get promoted, that whole thing and this whole thing.
There's a great back and forth in the article between Dominic Foxworth, I believe, and a couple owners when they were negotiating. I don't know who. It sounds like it's first-person accounts of what happened in there. It's great watching them go back and forth, and Jerry Jones comes in and kind of cools everything off. But the only power I feel like the players truly have is if they sit out games. And I know when I was there, I didn't want to sit out games. I didn't want to strike. We got locked out when I was playing. It's very different, but everything got figured out right as training camp was about to open because guys didn't want to miss games. But don't you feel like that's the only power the players have if they truly threaten to not play?
I guess. I mean, for me, with the players and the owners, and now that I've been a part of a lot of business conversations at this point, by the way, pretty fucking high-end ones, too. It's been...
Hey, my bad, but didn't they just sign a 10-year extension on the CBA?
Yeah,
so
but
none of this matters then. Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, nothing could happen for another 10 years. But then they had to renegotiate for the salary cap because of potential whatever's going to happen with the salary cap and revenue splits and everything like that. Lockout, by the way, I wish that happened every single year. And I know this is it was awesome. It was fucking awesome. It was the greatest thing of all time. But once again, that's something the NFL players should have got out in front of PR-wise and said, this is not a strike. Because a lot of people were like, oh, the spoiled players are doing anything. It's like, no, we're not even allowed to fucking go to work right now. I don't even know. But that was one thing I thought, this is a poor PR decision. We should probably get out in front of this a little bit to explain our side of the thing because we are getting buried. And if you win the mob, you win Rome. That is kind of how the old saying goes. And every single time it feels like there's a dispute between the NFL players who fans should relate much more to than the billionaires. The fans will always side with the billionaires because they're the ones that leak information or have people on their side. And also, inevitably, they're going to be around a lot longer than each individual player is. But I feel like mismanaging the communication is one big aspect. But also, I think I heard DeMaurice Smith's first speech as NFLPA president at the rookie symposium. And I might be wrong, but he was just introduced as the president, the new president, and he came from D.C. He was a lawyer, and he gave a speech basically about the inevitability of a potential lockout coming and the war chest we're going to create and everything. The way he described what he was going to go do to Roger Goodell, I was like, this is not how you negotiate business. At that point, I was only like 21 years old, I think, or 22 years old, so I hadn't known. But the way he was like, hey, we're going to get every dollar from it. And that's like cool to hear. Like I like hearing that. Like I understand that's your mission and it was his first speech and everything like that. But when you go and do business with people, now the NFL is 30 billionaires because they are probably pretty stringent with their lawyers and they get everything out of there. But it felt like it's going to be tough to negotiate if you're telling the person on the other side to go fuck themselves right before you're going into the room. And that's inevitably what happened with the lockout that happened. It was like no deal was ever imminent because each side, as soon as you tell the NFL, like, hey, fuck you, we're going to go get, and this might be naive. I assume there'll be people that watch this that are reps that are like, that's not how it works when you're negotiating with business, billionaires, everything like that. It's like, okay, but there has to be a happy medium there where you're not just like, we're going to go to war with these people. It's like, yo, we need each other here. Let's figure this out. Let's get this deal done. I guess there's two different ways of doing things. Just from day one, though, where I was like, this guy's going to go negotiate with Roger Goodell, and this guy's representing me. Okay, here we go. Let's do this thing. And I assume he's done some good things. Okay, I assume there's a litany of good things that DeMaurice Smith has done. But every time I ask a question, I got one of the dumbest fucking answers I've ever heard. I'm like, I can't take this. I'm out of here. I did not sign to be a member of I might have been the only player. I think I was the only player on the Colts that did not. I'm like, I'm not fucking doing it. Keep the Madden check. I don't fucking need it. But stop selling the fucking shirts, though. I'll sell them myself.
The NFLPA, too, going to see you on your busiest day. It's like, hey, don't worry. These guys are going to be tired. They're not going to ask any questions that mean a thing.
It's set up exactly
We'll
like
just
that.
roll right through this. They won't know what hit them.
There's a lot of good guys, by the way, who have been reps and have tried their best. Like, I'm not saying that, but it just feels like at this point, a lot of it's bullshit. And I'm like,
yes.
Can we maybe stop?
Also, too, and I know I've said this on the show, the owners and the league are always going to have the leverage because players are players. And when we knew, like I knew going into the lockout happened after my 5th season. The PA had been coming in for 2 years probably before that saying, hey, a lockout might happen. It could happen. Make sure you save, do this, do all this. They gave you different ways that you could save parts of your check and whatever. We got locked out after the Super Bowl or whenever it was, March, it started. And I've said this before, you don't get paid during that time. Everybody gets some kind of stipend. Yes, each week you're there for the off-season program, but it's a time you don't get paid. So you normally are not getting paid that your salary anyway until the next season starts. We had dudes taking out loans at 40% interest rates. We had guys struggling saying, we got to get back to work. I'm like, well, you knew this was coming, and it's a time when you're not getting paid anyway. You're not missing game checks, but players still struggled with it. So the owner's like, yeah, we're good. Like we're fine. Like we're always going to win this.
And by the way, those reports started creeping out about players struggling and everything like that.
Yeah.
And that was probably now that I know a little bit more about the information that gets leaked from people, that was just billboards on a worldwide leader from the NFL to make it look like, you know what I mean? That's probably bullshit, by the way. I mean, unless you know guys that did it. I assume, now, I will say, that off season where you don't get paid, it does seem short when you just look at that clock. But I would have been one of the statistics if I did not make that team the second year coming back after the offseason I had. And that's why in the lead into this show, in the intro, it says, what am I supposed to do? Look at something that I can definitely afford and I've always wanted and say, nah. That's what I learned after my rookie year, by the way. I visited damn near every continent on planet Earth. I was at every single gathering I could potentially be at. And by the time I got back to training camp, that $1,300 or $800, whatever it was at the time, I was like, all right, let's go ahead and collect that. All right, boys, get some ramen in here. All right, let's go ahead and let's fucking make this team. All right, let's try to make this team. But you're 100% right, because the thought was, they're like, we got to build up this war chest. Make sure you get the Cobra insurance. Hey, you need Cobra insurance. That whole thing, that was a big deal. And my thought was, so we're going to miss games? Is it because it was going into my third year? I was like, we're going to miss games? Is that what the plan? We will if we have to. It's like, I don't think we're saying that. They're not even letting us go to fucking work. So I don't know if we're in control of that, pal. I don't know if that's us. It's just interesting, man. The NFL, NFLPA thing is always so interesting.
They're both. There needs to be a PA, obviously, to represent the players, and they have done a bunch of great things over the years. But it's a weird time right now, I feel like, with the PA and the league and how they're doing everything. And I don't know. I know there's different opt-out times during this 10-year period. They can renegotiate things, but I'll be interested to see what the money looks like when it comes to the TV deals that come in here. Over the next year, is it?
Yeah. 10 years, $100 billion.
For what kind of package would that be?
By the way, now I guess I should give the NFLPA a little bit more credit, I guess. Those same negotiators that told ESPN you're going to pay us more than double what NBC pays for the same amount of games. You're going to pay us $1.9 million or $1.9 billion a year, and they're going to pay us $960 million. Those same negotiators are the people talking to the NFLPA too. I'd assume they are good negotiators. You know what I mean? And negotiators, by the way, aren't the best humans. Like those are not. Those are humans that are trying to potentially fuck you over completely, which is, by the way, what somebody's going to talk to me about my naivety about we shouldn't be talking about going to war. We should try to be good business partners here or whatever. I understand that, but that article is the parts that I saw very interesting, especially because you're getting 0.025% of jersey sales or whatever. And it's just like, all right.
Unless you're Drew Brees.
No, he sold a lot of jerseys, dude.
Yeah, well, Foxworth, got 15,000 from the NFLPA. He got 9 million. I mean, I think there's a little bit of a difference there.
Well,
Dominique was the president too.
Dominique was also president for the basketball one, I think, as well.
Really?
I think he was also president for the NBPA for a bit or something like that.
Damn,
He's in there. There's a guy that probably understands a little bit of the shit going on in that whole world, and he's potentially going to be the one to tell us that we are stupid for thinking that things go the way they go. But it's just looking at it and watching the way things unfolded with me. My personal experience was terrible, and I know I'm nowhere near the only one.
Absolutely not the only one, but I think just pure indifference is what keeps anything from happening. Just because players, why would you waste your time with it?
You remember there for a while they were having their annual meetings in Hawaii for fucking 10 days. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember.
Oh, we got our meetings. It's just meetings all day. You guys have to go to fucking Honolulu to do that? Is that? Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we're working, man. What do you want? He wants to go do this?
Jordy told me, Jordy became the rep later on. And I remember he took one trip. He's like, hey, you should be like the alternate rep because I think you get the trip too. And this place is amazing.
Before Eddie Olczyk joins us here in about a minute and a half, let's get to Chance down there in Texas. What's going on, Chance?
Yeah, Pat. What's up, AJ? What's up, boys? How y'all doing?
Hey, life is good, Chance. How are you, bub?
I'm good. Living life, I was gonna ask though, what do y'all think about, the Bucs can't keep everybody. They might get rid of Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown might go get some money, What about Des Bryant? He said he wanted to play 2 years. What do y'all think about that?
Okay, I like the thought of Des being a free agent. Nobody's talking about Des Bryant, really. He scored a couple of touchdowns, made some plays, was reliable for the Ravens. I believe he's loved every locker room he goes into. I would assume Des Bryant, alongside some other notable veteran free agents, are going to potentially go and give a little peeksy down into Tampa Bay. Is there any thoughts here? Any
room?
Any room? There's a lot of wide receivers, though, that are going to be out. We went through, I think, like 6 of them very quickly that are very good, who most of them have already been paid at this point, potentially trying to get down there. Add Des to that list. We did forget about him earlier today.
Hey, if I was Antonio Brown, I would take vet minimum to stay in Tampa, wouldn't you? Like, why would he go anywhere else?
I mean, unless, what do you do if you, like, this is the Gronk thing. Rob Ninkovich comes in and says, look for Gronk to be in Miami with Deshaun Watson. And it's like, all right, Rob played with Gronk. I assume he knows Gronk. He's friends with Gronk. We got to talk to him. And he's like, Gronk has never been a free agent before. Gronk has never. What if he gets offered a 3-year, $36 million deal from somebody? If Antonio Brown is potentially offered a stupid contract, which could happen, by the way, that absolutely could happen. How hard would it be to be like, nah, I don't want it just because me and Tom are boys. I want a Super Bowl catch all the thing. It's like, it's going to be interesting to see how Chris Godwin, same exact thing. We talked to him yesterday. It's like, how's he going to balance that? Because the Buccaneers, I assume, just like the Patriots for a long time, are expecting people to go ahead and.
But Godwin's different just because he hasn't been paid yet, and AB has been paid. So now AB, I mean, if you're going to get the deal, you better hope if you're AB, like, hey, this is I'm the LA Rams or somewhere. Go out there with Stafford.
Oh, could you imagine him in LA with Sean McVay,
Cup and Woods?
Yes.
I mean,
they don't have any money though, do they? Do they have any money?
No, they got nothing.
20
They'll
million
figure
or
it
something?
out. They figure it out every time.
Not the Rams. The Rams are actually a team that doesn't. They had to start cutting people. Everybody else seems to figure it out. The Rams like, fucking get him out of here. Fucking, we just made him the highest paid guy last year. Get him out. Get him out. That guy got COVID. Get him out. Backup center, first ever COVID guy. Get him out.
AB can come on back to New England if he wants to.
Who's going to throw him the ball?
Cam Newton, best recruiter we got. Only attraction that we got, along with Bill, who's dope as shit.
Wait, who do you think? We talked to, is Eddie on?
He's on, but he's sideways right now, and he's not at his desk. So we're trying to figure that out.
Okay, so I'll ask you this question.
Sitting sideways.
Juju. Boys in the hood. Mm-hmm. Sitting sideways. Boys in the hood. Shout out to the guys in prison watching, dude.
Shout out.
Saw that.
Hey, it's probably you too, pal. Think about that. I told our sales guy out there, hey, we need ramen. We need cinnamon buns. We need to start selling some shit here for the guys that are doing hard time back.
Pillows with a promo code.
Cheetos.
Hey,
Get
you know what we need now?
Cheetos.
Pat, we need to get a story leaked. We need to get a guy get caught in prison with an unlawful cell phone watching the show, and it becomes a big news story.
Chad could have been our guy. It feels like Chad, though, too smooth, What had happened was, and he got caught up. He's not criminal. It seems like he was really a guy that would have never got caught. I mean, by the way, how'd the phone get in? I'm pretty excited to hear that. Did we get keistered into jail to be washed every single day? It is an honor, sir.
Especially if, a guard might come up like, hey, give me that. Oh, wait. Oh, you're just watching the Pat McAfee show. I'll hop in with you.
Okay, here we
Let's
come.
watch this. I was doing the same.
Maybe we brought an entire prison together.
Yeah.
Good for us, man.
Peace in prison.
Shout out us, dude. Get us in prison, bro. We should do a prison show at some point. We got to find out which prison we're most popular at
Johnny
and just
Cash.
go do a live show out there.
Folsom Prison, probably.
Who's that roasting guy from Comedy Central, Jeff Ross?
Yeah.
He went and did one pretty good. Pretty good. There were some white supremacists up on the top that were kind of not a little iffy on him early, but he got them to come around.
Turned him.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I assume we'll have some haters in there if we were to cut it open, but us in prison's good content.
Might as well print the Big Prison Show shirts right
Big
now.
Prison Show.
Right now.
Just got caught up.
Join us. It happens, man.
He just hung up. Hold on.
What's that?
He just hung up. I'm sorry.
Is it because we're talking about prisons?
Oh, no.
Eddie Olczyk does not want to be associated.
He was on.
He's on?
He was.
So which one is it, though?
They gave me a thumbs up, too, right? By the way, wrap up prison conversation. We got guest on.
So we should go back to prison time.
Then it's, now we've already passed. The time has passed.
We're back.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now. Not out of prison. Okay, which is good news.
No.
Played in the NHL for 16 seasons. Stanley Cup champion, head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins, the greatest hockey team to ever play hockey in the history of hockey, in the history of ice and sticks and pucks. Ladies and gentlemen, the incredible Eddie Olczyk. How you doing, bub?
Hey, what's up, Pat? How you doing, pal?
Hey, I'm sorry you had to catch the tail end of our conversation about prisons. We learned today we're a big prison show. People watch us in prison, so big day for us, Ed.
Yeah.
Shout out prison.
Congrats. The ratings have gone through the roof here. That is good.
I do wonder if they're counting the illegal views that are coming from the prison into our stream. I'd like to think that this is a fair society, and they do count that. Let's talk about the NHL. Last night, Pittsburgh Penguins show again that they're the greatest team on ice, beat the Capitals in overtime, nasty flip of the hips and go. How has the NHL season started? For those of us that might not have seen everything, how do we feel? Who's the favorites aside from the Penguins, Edzo? What do we got going on?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's only a 56-game schedule this year, Pat, because of obviously the world that we're all living in. And it's going to be interesting if the National Hockey League does get to the 56 games. I mean, Dallas had a COVID outbreak early in the season, and then we all know what happened as far as the weather down south, and the Dallas Stars had to miss, I think, 4 or 5 games. So they've fallen really behind. So, we don't know if we're going to get a full complement of games, but that certainly is the plan to get a 56-game schedule. So, you got teams that have played 20 games already. So we're approaching the halfway point, and, it's going to be really interesting because the way the divisional play, you have the Canadian division, all the divisions in the States are a little bit different. But if I look at it right now, I think the three best teams for me are the Colorado Avalanche, the Vegas Golden Knights, who happen to be in the same division, and then you have also the Boston Bruins. So I would look at those. I would look at those 3 teams. Sorry, Patty, I'm sorry. So I look at those 3 teams as being the teams that have a chance to get in the Stanley Cup final. But I go to the Vegas Colorado division. You have St. Louis in there too, and we know what St. Louis did a couple of years ago. So I mean, there's going to be a really good team because you get 4 teams from each division that'll play. One will play 4, 2 will play 3, and then you're going to have the best, the final series in that division. You're going to have a pissed off fan base. You're going to have a team that's really darn good that isn't going to get to the conference finals, the Final Four in the National Hockey League.
Eddie, hey, AJ Hawk here coming in.
Hey, AJ, how are you?
I joined Pat the last hour of his show every day, but so I was thinking about you when I watched the NHL, and I'm thinking, all right, I don't know enough to know like differences and things. So I just wondered, from when you retired till now, like how different is the game? Are you a fan of how it is now? Would you rather go back to what it was? Like, what's it like?
AJ, that's a great question. I mean, I do like the openness of the game where I think it caters, and you guys know this better than anybody, I think especially in football, right? The rules cater to offense, right? It's really tough to be on the defensive side of the ball and have an edge, where 15 years ago in the National Hockey League, 20 plus years ago when I played, you could hook, you could hold. If you got a 2-1 lead going to the third period, there was a pretty damn good chance you're going to win the game. But now it's much more free flowing. It's catering to offense. There's more penalties being called more consistently. I do like the game. I do miss the dislike. I do miss the dropping of the gloves. Not that I was a guy that dropped the gloves a lot, but I do miss that part of it. I mean, intimidation is always going to be a part of sports. I don't care what anybody says, what era it is. But for me, I think the National Hockey League is an. What are you doing there, Patty? What do you want? What do you? I thought you were a goalie. My son told me you're a goalie.
Hey, this is your son's stick. This is actually your son's stick. I learned that I was a lefty from using your son's stick. Actually, I thought I was a righty my entire life. Turns out, sticky mitts on the left side.
Hey, when you're stick handling, you got to keep your head up. All right, you got to keep your head up when you're stick handling.
No, not with this modern hockey. Ain't nobody coming after me, Edzo. I got my head down. Hey, you just said it. You just said it's a lot more open, pal.
Hey! If you guys don't mind, if you don't mind me saying this, being a colon cancer survivor, proud to say I'm clean and clear of colon cancer. For hard to believe, I'm going on my 3-year anniversary. But March is colon cancer awareness month, and I would encourage everybody out there that is getting to that age, and now it is recommended at age 50, It hits all demographics. The numbers for colon cancer are sadly going through the roof over the course of the last 5 years, and they finally lowered the recommended age to age 50 for people to get checked out, get a colonoscopy, and if your family's been affected by it, please go see your medical professional. And I live the worst part of it when it comes to being diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer and having to take chemo for 6 months. And if I could help one person out there either stay away from it or avoid that. And look at, the colonoscopy, it isn't great. It's, literally, and it's pretty crappy for 2 days to clean yourself out and go get cleaned out, but you get peace of mind. And I would rather have somebody give up 2 days than try to fight the battle of colon cancer. So I encourage everybody out there to make sure they're looking after themselves, your friends, your family. Don't put it off. Not that I put it off, but I happen to just turn 51 years of age. And next thing you know, they're telling me I had a tumor the size of my fist growing inside my colon, and lucky enough to have beaten it. And if I can help one person out there, because I know you guys have a great following, please make sure you look after yourself and take care of your family members.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff, Edzo. We actually have a guy in our show that just got a colonoscopy the other day. He's going through it right now, and that is why is it natural? Is it genetic? Is it food that we eat? What is it potentially you think that's making the number? Have you learned anything about why?
Yeah, I think it's a lot. It is food intake. Some of it is it can be genetic. I'm a big believer. I can't get confirmation publicly, but I do believe in the world that we live in. Everywhere we turn around, there's technology all around us, right? Like there's computers and phones and cell phones and whatever. I mean, it's everywhere. So I do believe that it is all of the above. And like I said, it does not discriminate. And I would just encourage anybody out there. And like just for my family, I mean, Pat, my son Tommy, you mentioned him, you got his stick there. I mean, I have 4 children. I just became a grandfather for the first time.
Hey, congratulations.
So, thank you very much. Yeah, thanks. My daughter, my oldest son, Eddie, and his wife, Erica, gave birth to Audrey Marie Olchek on July 7th. So 7-7 is her lucky number. Every time I'm at the betting the horses, I play a 7-7 double just because of Audrey. But my kids are going to have to get checked out much earlier because I had, stage 3 colon cancer. So there's a lot there, Pat and AJ. But like I said, if we can make people aware, hopefully we can keep them away from, the really bad stuff. So be proactive. Don't sit there and go, it's not going to happen to me, because I'm a perfect example that all of a sudden I woke up one day, I couldn't go number 2, flat out. And next thing you know, I'm having a 6.5-hour surgery, removing a tumor, as I said, the size of my fist, and then telling me I had stage 3 colon cancer and then 6 months of hell with the chemotherapy.
Well, I want to let you know, our show normally ruins society. The fact that we're potentially helping it a little bit, we appreciate you for that. You know what I mean? I do appreciate that, Edzo. And way to kick ass, by the way. It's not easy. Obviously, with Chuck Pagano here and the Chuck Strong and everything like that, we got a chance to really learn a lot more about the battles that happen. And it is... congrats, man. Keep it going. Proud of you, Edzo. Hey, proud of you, Edzo. Way to keep it going, and we appreciate that message. Let's get back to hockey a little bit here.
Yeah.
Mark Madden. Do you know who Mark Madden is?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
First thoughts whenever I say his name? Just first.
Oh, look at it. I mean, you're talking about a character. I mean, I knew Mark when I was playing in Pittsburgh, broadcasting in Pittsburgh, and then coaching in Pittsburgh. I think I liked him more when I was broadcasting and playing than I was when I coached, because you know what happens. I mean, Mark's very opinionated, and you know what? He loves wrestling just like I do. So that's what we got. Yeah, that's probably the main tie there.
I didn't know you were a wrestling fan. You're a wrestling fan?
I mean, back in the day, I used to go all the time. If you look really, really close, I think it was WrestleMania. I think it was what was the year where you had Freilich in the fridge? Was that 2? Was that WrestleMania 2?
Freilich in the fridge.
Remember they were in the Royal Rumble. They had all the football players were in there, right? Weren't they? I mean, like the fridge was there and Freilich was there. So, anyways, it was in Chicago where I live, and we went to the old Rosemont Horizon, now Allstate Arena, and a few connections here or there. But if you look really, really close, sitting second row was a very young, I think 18 or 19-year-old Eddie Olczyk, sitting second row for WrestleMania, which was pretty cool.
What a stud! We will look for that. Somebody on the internet will find that within the next hour or so. I can't wait for that. I believe whenever you meet somebody who liked wrestling growing up, they get it a lot more. Like, for instance, in the sports world, a lot of shit talking, If you grow up watching wrestling, you get like, okay, there has to be babyface, there has to be heel, there has to be characters in this thing, the same way you described Mark Madden. I feel like that tells a lot about somebody if they liked wrestling growing up.
Hey, you know what? Do you remember a wrestler by the name of Ox Baker? Do you remember that name?
No, but let me Google it. I'll Google
Here, hold on 1 second. Here, I want to show you something.
Is Ox a fucking family friend over there?
Right there?
Yeah.
So no. Ox Baker is he's morphed. We lost him I think a couple of years ago. But so I'm walking through an airport. Now, again, Ox Baker is probably his prime was probably, I'll say, early 70s to probably the mid 80s, right?
There's no chance I knew who that was.
Here's a picture of Ox Baker. Can you see it? There's Ox Baker. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm walking through an airport. Okay, I'm 18 or 19 years old. I'm at O'Hare Airport. I'm going down an escalator. And at the bottom of the escalator, there's this big, massive human standing there with a briefcase. And I could see his profile, and I'm like, holy, that's Ox Baker. I'm like, this is unbelievable. I watch him every Sunday morning on Bob Loose Wrestling. I'm like, this is unbelievable. So I get down to the bottom of the escalator, and I make eye contact with him. And I'm like stunned. I'm like, Ox Baker? He goes, yeah, you want a picture? I'm like, yeah, sure. He opens up his briefcase. He's got his shorts. He's got tape. He's got brass knuckles in there. And he hands me a picture. He goes, what's your name? I go, it's Eddie. So if you could look really closely on there, I don't know if I'm showing it right, but it says to Eddie, Ox.
Look at that. Let's go. You watch Young Rock? You watched Young Rock last night?
So this is it. This is the vintage picture. Ox Baker. Look at him. I mean, that is a mean looking guy. Would you want to get in a ring with him?
No, I'm actually going to go try to get his top shot today. That's actually what I'm going to go try. I'm going to try to get his top shot today.
And also, he was like a chef, or like he was into cooking. I think he was in the middle of doing a cookbook. Unfortunately, when he passed away, but a little inside there on the legendary Ox Baker.
Oh, well, shout out Ox Baker. Shout out Ox Baker. Thank you, Ox. Last question here, Edzo. We appreciate you joining us, man. Every time I talk to you, I feel inspired and entertained and informed all at the same time, which is a great conversation. Coming up as an American hockey player.
Yeah.
All right, and maybe you'll be able to debunk my theory that I have.
Okay.
With the way the world is, with the technology that you referred to and that whole thing, and the ability for kids to make money right now on the internet, whether they're content creators or e-gamers or anything like that, I think you're going to see a shift in towards sports and maybe agendas as kids. And I think hockey is potentially going to be a sport because you have to be up at 6 a.m. on the ice. You have to be skating. You have to basically get your body sharpened every single morning. I think that's a sport that's potentially easier for people to say, okay, I'm not going to go do that. I'm going to go do something else. Now, it's not easy to become a professional content creator, e-gamer, or anything like that. I'm not saying it's easy, but physically demanding on the body, the commitment that you have to have for hockey in particular is insane. It's an absolutely insane commitment. Do you think there's a chance we get to the point where American hockey players just aren't really something anymore unless it's a legacy or a generational type thing?
No, I think that how far USA Hockey has come, Pat and AJ. From my era. I mean, look at I'm way older than both of you young fellas, and I mean, look at I started in 1984, and I mean the percentage of National Hockey League players was, I think it was just over 4% in the National Hockey League. Now we're almost at 33%, where the percentage of American-born players in the National Hockey League. I think the one thing, Pat and AJ, that has been something that inspires me to try to help young people, boys and girls, every demographic, every part of the country is how do we make it more affordable for families and for young people that want to play a great game in hockey? Because look at the world we're living in now. I mean, the world is upside down for all of us. And when people, want to get their kids in athletics, they sit there and go, okay, well, you have baseball, you have football, and what's the cost of that? How much is the equipment? Well, with most football programs, as you guys know, the equipment comes with, the sign up or whatever that is. But for hockey, I mean, hockey is very much like golf. I mean, it is expensive, and we're not even talking about ice time yet. And that's something that is somebody that has been very lucky and blessed to have been involved in hockey for a long, long time, is how do we make it more affordable and more opportunities for people that maybe don't have the means to be able to do that? And I have my own small foundation here in Chicago. It's called, real unique, the Eddie Olczyk Award, where we give donations to young hockey players and organizations that maybe have fallen on difficult times or don't have the means to be able to, play the game of hockey. And proud to say we've given over $100,000 to young hockey players in the state of Illinois.
Let's go!
Thank you. And again, I think that's where it is, Pat. On the heart of your question is people look at it and go, do I want to pay the $250 for soccer, or do we want to spend the $2,500 for hockey? And look, the world we're living in now, we know where people are going. So we got to find a way to make sure that we can expose the game to people, give them an opportunity regardless of how much it costs. And I think like myself, once I grabbed the stick and put on a pair of skates, besides falling all over the place like a deer on ice the first time, it was in my blood. I mean, it was in my blood from day one. And I think anybody that watches it or does it themselves certainly has the opportunity to fall in love with the great game of hockey.
We appreciate you, Eddie. We're going to donate to that, by the way. We'd like to keep that thing going, maybe for more awards and scholarships. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, hockey legend, Eddie Olczyk. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate you, buddy.
Okay, stay in touch. Let's talk before the Derby. Huh? Let's make sure we talk before the Derby now, Pat. All right?
Yes. Yeah, we have to, because you know what? You know those damn ponies. I don't know those ponies. I don't know, but I would like to bet on them. So let's definitely talk before the Derby.
All right, good. Stay safe, guys. Thanks for having me. See you, AJ. Nice to meet you, man.
You're the best.
Buddy.
See you later, Edzo. Appreciate you, man. All right, we have to get to a break.
Oh, shoot.
We have to. Nick, I know you had a question, and I apologize. But we're going to end up with like a minute and a half again. You know what I mean? It's going to be our thing. What were you going to ask him?
I wanted to ask him about how it felt to try and kill like 2 hours of live airtime on NBC while the ice melted behind him.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome over there in Lake Tahoe. All right, we'll be back on the other side answering some phone calls and sending you into Chris Mad Dog Russo with Mad Dog Unleashed here on SiriusXM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio. Why is football the greatest sport on earth? And do you think football is the greatest sport on earth? And why do you like football?
That's a really deep question there, Pat.
I know. I think I'd get a good answer out of you, though. I think you'd be able to talk about it in a way that I think a lot of people haven't, because you've been at the pinnacle of it for so damn long and inside of it, and your brain is a pretty fantastic one. We've learned here over the last few weeks, obviously. Last few weeks, that's it. That's all the time we've learned that.
I think it's the greatest sport in the world for one main reason. It is a true team sport where it is damn near impossible for one person to dominate an entire game. And if you look at other team sports, basketball with 5 guys on the court, I think you've seen multiple players over the years. Maybe one player, or maybe 1 or 2 players on a squad be able to dominate and win championships. Baseball, you can have a dominant pitcher and win championships. Soccer, you can have a dominant forward and or goalie. That seems to be a little more of a team sport, but you don't have 11 players engaged at the same time on every play. It is truly a sport reliant on every player on the field to do their job in order to be successful. And I think that's why at times, certain star players can get maybe too much credit and maybe too much blame on the flip side, because it does take so many players at the same time in 3 phases to win football games. And I think that's the beauty and the draw of our sport, is that something new happens all the time, because you are literally dealing with 11 humans on the field at one time who all have lives outside of football, and there's distractions, there's a reliance on coaching, there's a reliance on preparation, there's a reliance on diet and performance. I just think there's so many facets to it that you see something new every single week, and I think that's the beauty in our game. When it comes to the love that I have for it, it's rooted, and I think like any player who's played for a long time, the love is not just about our sport, it's about competition. And I think there's nothing in the world for me that fills that need and that hole I have like competition. I think players who play for a long time at a high level, you have that need to be satiated competitively, and it's a love of going out there and going against guys and being in an environment where you know that nothing is guaranteed. And that's why I, at times, have taken umbrage to people saying that it's easy, because it's not easy. It's never easy. And I think that's the beauty in our game, is that you see things new every single week. It's never easy. And your only thing you're guaranteed is the ability to compete. I love that aspect of it. I love competing. I love going out there and harnessing the fear of failure, where I think so many people who maybe don't love football as much, the root of that is a deep fear of failure, that you might go out there and your best might not be good enough, and that's not okay with you.
It's the show recommended by 0 out of 5 old white guys. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Welcome back to said show. Want to let you know that most guys have tried different ways to last longer in the sack, but thinking about baseball doesn't always work, even though the sport's incredibly boring. The folks at Roman, an online men's health brand company, are changing the game with Roman Swipes, the secret to longer lasting sex. You can say the Pledge of Allegiance all you want in your head. You can count backwards from whatever number, but whenever that ends, you still have a chance to potentially come all over yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Roman.
was that in the read?
What it says.
It was not, but I'll tell you what, it has been the same read every time, so I am kind of getting bored with it. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Roman Swipe, I'm not bored with their product, because the product is revolutionary, but boy, you got to keep this thing spicy, because what they're doing is a game changer for a lot of people. Ain't that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, changed my life.
Roman Swipes are a clinically proven way to last longer in the sack. They're effective, easy to use, and fast acting, but don't require a prescription. Roman can ship swipes to you in discreet, unmarked packaging, and each swipes packet is small enough to hide in your wallet for whenever you need it. Swipes are great. They will not transfer your partner, so you can last longer without worrying. They're super easy to use. Just take the swipes out of the packet, swipe it on, let it dry, and you're good to go. When you go to GetRoman.com/USA, you can get your first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. That's GetRoman.com/USA. AJ, we got a couple minutes here on SiriusXM. We have to talk about Tiger Woods. We talked about it earlier in the show. He is going to come back and win a golf tournament in about 9 months. Can't wait for that.
Oh, yeah.
Probably the one that's near wherever you are. The golf tournament that you're near, where he always plays well. And he's been quoted as saying he loves what he does in Ohio. Loves everything about the golf tournament, the course, the hospitality, the places where he stays and eats. He loves everything about that. But shattered ankle, 2 leg fractures. Listening to that press conference yesterday with the sheriff, the chief, and the first deputy on the scene, always immediately expected the absolute worst. It's nice to hear that was a successful surgery overnight, and I can't wait to see this documentary, AJ.
Hey, but they're reporting it's his right leg, correct?
I think he said both legs.
Both. Right ankle, I thought, was the...
Maybe left ankle, right leg, right ankle, left leg, something like that.
I just know, I don't know, like, I'm sure real golfers could tell us. I know real golfers were saying, like, if it's his right leg, then it gives him a better chance to come back and play better golf. If it's his left leg, I guess that plant twist leg, it must be more difficult.
So I've had knee surgeries, both knees, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I came out in golf. Now, it's a much different swing than what Tiger has. I'm more like Tiger's first swing than his second swing that he came to.
Yep.
But the left leg the left leg is the hardest, the lead leg for me. Now, this is just my personal experience. So the people you're listening to, because that one's pivoting. You know what I mean? That one's moving, that whole thing. For me, by the way, kicking, punting, my left knee, even though you would think that the right knee would be more of an issue on the get back side, the left knee for planning and torquing and everything, because you don't have trust in it as much. You know what I mean? The whole rehab, it hurts, that whole thing. But Tiger Woods is literally a machine of a human at this point. I cannot wait to see the comeback story.
Yeah, it'll be good. And has anything else come out, like how this happened, whatever? I know it's a really weird, windy road where they said a lot of accidents do happen.
Yeah, it's a problematic area, they said. Windy, tough to see. I guess there's reports coming out that he potentially almost hit somebody's car somewhere else. He was in a big rush to get to Drew Brees.
Was he going to go? Didn't they say Justin Herbert and Drew Brees give him lessons and film it or something?
Yeah, Drew Brees.
Yeah,
Drew Brees was in a rush.
Leave Herbert out of this.
Oh, my bad.
Herbert was just doing what he was told.
Herbert's the face of Los Angeles. I mean, he's going to have to go there, obviously, but I believe it was Drew Brees' sesh that he was running late to.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Well, then, yeah. I understand he was in a hurry. And some guy filming a show said he almost hit him in the parking lot or something, or he saw him taking off in a hurry. So,
yeah, he was in a rush. He was a little bit late. And with that area, I guess, he ended up right underneath houses. I mean, it is crazy how scary and how negative everybody thought. I mean, every human, even the most optimistic humans, thought very negatively just because of the way it was, the media and the flip, the whole thing. Happy to hear he's going to be okay, especially for a chance for him and Charlie to get back on the course together. That was a beautiful moment. All right, this show is wrapping up. Chris Mad Dog Russo with Mad Dog Unleashed will be next. His show will be much better than ours. Ain't that right, AJ?
That's right.
Every day his show's better than ours. Trailblazer in the sports radio biz. For the next couple hours, you'll be listening to a legend. For the last 3 hours, you listen to idiots. And those idiots will be back tomorrow with a massive show. Yeah. You got about 6 minutes until Mad Dog Unleashed here on Sirius XM. All right. Let's run through these phone calls, shall we?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go to Lars in Nova Scotia. What's going on, Lars?
Come on.
Yeah, how you doing?
Lars, we had a break field today. Okay, we had a break field. We had Chad from jail. Now we got a guy named Lars. Let's have a fucking day on the phones. What do you want to talk about, pal?
Well, I want to talk about we're big Patriots fans out here on the East Coast, and the narrative is always that Belichick, is not happy that Brady won. But what are your thoughts on the fact that Belichick and a lot of the senior coaching staff are all deep down really happy that Brady and Gronk won?
That's Canadian thought.
For sure.
You know what I mean? That's a super Canadian thought. I think. Don't you think, Gumpy? That seems like a very Canadian move.
Yeah, it's just not true.
What do you mean?
Like you're saying he's saying that, but he doesn't actually believe
There's no way you believe that.
You're telling me Lars from Nova Scotia is lying to us right now?
You honestly think Bill was just grinning watching Tom win one without him?
Especially after the comments and the Instagram.
Emotional. I think Bill probably got emotional watching Tom when he was so excited for him. Like his son. It's like, this is my son. I've set him free. And he was able to be successful.
Yeah, him and Nike are sitting there watching that game. Him and the dog and the girl. They're probably out there on the yacht maybe watching that thing.
Steve, Brian.
The reason why I think we all ran with immediately thinking that it probably wasn't the most positive reaction is because even from the very beginning it was, Tom versus Bill. And then the Tommy fucking Foxborough thing. Then there was some brief comments on Instagram that happened. It's a very interesting thing that can make us believe very quickly that they probably, as a super competitive human beings, would like to see the other people fail without them. But maybe we are wrong, and maybe the Canadian is right. Maybe Bill was pumped to see somebody that he helped build and be a part of the process, continue on to cement his legacy as the greatest of all time.
I think Bill's fucking pissed anytime anybody but the Patriots win the Super Bowl.
Which is why the Patriots, by the way, have been the Patriots for so long. To be in a professional league, you have to be so competitive. You have to be... Now, I know AJ and I maybe debunk some bullshit narratives that are out there, like motivational speeches, like those aren't real. Like there's a lot of those things. But you have to be so competitive to be in a professional athlete. And even if publicly you don't potentially hate somebody, there's a lot of hate that drives a lot of competitive juices for people. And you can be a gentleman and still have that. It's that different level of separation there.
yeah, some people make their hate much more public than others. Some people can use it for their own motivation and not have to tell anybody or whatever. Just, yeah, everybody's motivated differently, man. And you're right. You have to be ultra competitive just to get a scholarship to play college football. You have to be ultra competitive. So, I mean, that's one big step. And then to play in the league, yeah, everybody is, because there's always a younger, cheaper version of you coming up that wants your gig.
A lot of my friends I wished failure upon whenever we were potentially playing against each other. You know what I mean? When there's a
if it's head-to-head against your, yeah, absolutely.
If it's $250,000 bonus on the line too, fuck that guy. All right, I love him. I hope he has an incredible offseason with his family. I hope he plays great, but I hope he shanks 7 straight fucking balls today. Like I hope that happens. And by the way, would never say it publicly, but that is what I'm thinking in my head. And then when I see him at one, it's like, oh, that motherfucker, I got to bury him now. Like that's just like the inner drive. What's up, Nick?
What you just said there, I think people vastly underestimate how much the uber competitive people, for lack of a better term, lie publicly. Like they'll say one thing because it's the right thing to say. Like, yeah, Bill will say he's happy for Tom. Guys will say they're staying with their teams. But when that money gets presented and the opportunity to win comes up, they're definitely thinking the other.
Well, it's whenever you lay your head down at night, and it's just you and your thoughts. What are those? What is really happening? You know what I mean? What are the real? That guy ain't worth a shit, and that's what is happening. I like the guy. Nothing as a good guy he is, but in comparison, and then that becomes the chip on the shoulder. That becomes the drive. They're saying like that's just kind of how it all plays. But you don't want to be public because you don't necessarily feel that way about the person or like the human that is. You probably like the person, but deep down inside, you're like, this guy's a fucking bum compared to me. I mean, what are we even talking about? And you use that to motivate yourself to work harder and everything.
Revenge games. I mean, come on.
Revenge bodies.
Yeah.
Spite games, spite stores. I mean, there's a lot of things that have, there's a lot of great things that have come from a terrible feeling, which is spite.
Nothing better.
By the way, some people love spite.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson, what's going on, dude? This is the guy.
Is this Pat, AJ, boys? How we doing?
Thank you, Jackson. It was very nice of you to say my name and say hello. I appreciate that immensely. How you doing, Jackson? Great to have you back on the show.
Hey. And thank you, Pat, for accepting my apology.
I'm an adult. I mean, I'll never forget it. Jackson, I will never forget it. Every time you call in, I will remember. But I do appreciate the fact that you say, hey, that's on me. I didn't even say hello to you, that whole thing. And it's all right. It never happens. But I'm happy we're at this point now where we can talk, Jackson. What would you like to talk about?
That's excellent, man. Hey, so I'm from Boulder, and Chuck Pagano is like a local legend. I was wondering if you had any good stories about him.
There's hundreds. He, I think, where did he play at? Wyoming? Will somebody find out where he played at? He played at Wyoming or something like that. I don't know. His story about always being ready to play that he had to give because we had a next man up thing going on. We had somebody injured, and he went back to tell his story. About his first start at Wyoming. And it was his first play was I think a goal line stand. Somebody got hurt. It was a goal line stand. You know what I mean? And he was like, I wasn't ready to play, but the team called upon me, and it was goal line. He goes out there. He tells his whole story. About how he steps up into the hole and meets the running back, senior running back. He's a freshman or whatever, when he's supposed to be on the field. And he said, because I had to do it for my team or whatever. He's a safety. And, now that guy ran me over and scored a touchdown. but you guys are much better players than I am. It was just like, whenever he would get going, oh my God, he was electric. He was electrifying whenever he would start talking. It was just, you got to, when he was talking about somebody to fucking tackle, because he was a defensive guy for a long time, also a special teams guy for a long time, been around the game, loves football, in and out, been through a lot of things. And whenever he gets animated and gets excited, it's just like, he told a story about this Bavarian pretzel. And it was this wrestler or Belgian pretzel or something like that. I forget what it was. It was this wrestler who had a move where he would take the opponent and put him in a pretzel, like rip him apart or whatever. And it got to the point where he would get into a wrestling, the circle or whatever, and the crowd would start chanting like pretzel. They would start calling for it, And it got to know. I forget if he was trying to use that story as like we need to find an identity like the pretzel guy, or if the pretzel guy started getting predictable and he started losing because everybody knew what he was going to do. I forget how he worded it, but he was doing the full crowd. Pretzel. And I'm like, all right, here we go. I was always dialed in because I didn't have much nerves. I didn't have much to remember. I just had to kick. But I love Chuck, man. He is electrifying. I wish he would get.
My bad, but what I'm curious about, what did that look like? I can't imagine Chuck would be able to stay focused as he's telling the story and he's getting more into it. I could see you front row just getting so juiced, like your face getting so excited. Okay, let's go. Okay, Chuck, and making your little one-off comments. Like I can imagine it might get frustrating at some point. He's like,
so I never sat in the front row. I sat in the second row.
Okay. Still, he saw you. He saw you very, very clearly, and I'm sure he heard everything you said.
So obviously, too, you got flip-flops on because you're in the team hotel. Basketball shorts or house shorts on. I normally had a tank top with a zipper-down hoodie up. Second row, sitting with full leg extension, just straight up like this, as if it is just full, like, hey, I'm here to judge, which now that I think about the way it probably did look like that. And after Chuck's first 7 team meetings, I would walk out because the special teams room was on the same way of his, and I would give him a score on his team meeting, and he's just going to be every day, I think so. Yeah, I think I'm paying attention. I want to let you know, every word you say, I am paying attention to. I'd like to let you know. But I enjoyed the way he told a story. I didn't interject much, If there was other people though that did. I mean, we had that I wish we filmed them. I wish we had those filmed. I assume at some point they are, but that guy, I hope he gets on TV, dude. I hope. Okay, Chuck. Yeah, there's a lot of okay, Chuck. A lot of those, though. You know what I mean?
Does he want? Do you think he would want to be on TV?
I don't know if he could. He's one of those guys where I'm not 100% sure he could turn on complete bullshit. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. For instance, Bruce Arians gets in the booth, and the first week he goes, that guy was wide ass open or whatever. And they're like, you can't say that. And Bruce was like, all right, I'm not doing TV anymore. That's kind of how I'm going back to coaching if I can't say that. I don't know if Chuck, if he had to try to be like the TV guy, it would be as good, because the reason why he is so entertaining because he's not you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I don't know what he'll do. I hope he does. He's got a, I think he's.
Does he know? But does he know he's this entertaining?
Yeah, I think he started to understand, I think he started, I think he knew. I think he did know that he could tell a good story. Because, I mean, when you're going up there in front of that team and speaking every single day, there's different styles, Bruce, whenever he was our interim head coach, he was very quick. Bruce Arians was very quick. It was like, hey, this, boom, let's go ahead and get the fuck out of here. Jim Caldwell was always very, business-wise. And then Chuck, whenever he got out there, he wanted to keep it lively. He wanted to keep the energy up. He wanted interaction. He wanted questions. And then whenever, if you set yourself up to start telling a story in front of a football locker room, by the way, which is the toughest of crowds. A football locker room is a tough crowd. When my first time doing stand-up, I was in front of, I think it was 1,800, 2,000 people the first time I went on stage. And people were like, how nervous are you or whatever? I was like, not really at all. I've had a guy from Compton sitting here. I've had an uber wealthy white that grew up with a billionaire father here. I've had people that hate punters and kickers sitting here. And I have somebody that couldn't even speak English sitting here. And I've told stories in front of those people, and they've all got a pretty good pop. What are these Indiana whites going to do that I have not seen? There was really so Chuck was not scared at all. He went out there for it. So I think he knows. You know what I mean? I think he knew he was a good speaker or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know him at all, and I've never even spoken to him, but he seems like a guy that could just be super hilarious, but he never has any idea of it, which I think those guys are some of the funniest guys around that don't know how funny they are.
That is interesting because, after those team meetings, me saying to him, did you just say? And him realizing, oh, I guess I did.
I think so.
I think I did. Yes, thanks for listening. Yeah. I wonder if that is the case. I do wonder. Him in Japan was fucking unbelievable. Him in Japan was awesome. Got a chance to see him just kind of kick back and relax a little bit, It was awesome.
What was that first one after he came back from the whole cancer? How was that team meeting?
He was a fucking asshole, dude. It was, so he comes back, right? And I thought we were going to get a kumbaya check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, I just battled, absolutely battled, came back. And he wanted to set the tone with his first team meeting. We're going into the playoffs here. let's go ahead and keep going. First period of practice was punt period. He comes back, and he and I know each other, kind of. It was his first year. He was there for a couple of weeks, but not really. I was having a pretty good year. And the first punt I hit, it was terrible. It was a shank or whatever. And this dude's in my ear, like right here, like, can't have it. Like, listen, we got to be better than that. I'm like, bro. Like, are we not, like, just happy to be alive right now or whatever, you know what I mean? No, we got a game to win, okay? And stop fucking shanking the ball. Like, I'm like, okay, all right. Like, so he came back, I think, like, very focused and, like, very determined, like, hey, we got a good team. Let's go ahead and do this thing. But he was always pretty comedic with it. You know what I mean? Like,
that was probably his plan, though. Okay, first day back, we're going to start with punt, and I'm just going to bury McAfee right from jump.
Well, punt period is always first period.
Oh, okay.
Most important play. Yeah, so
naturally.
Punt period, normally first period. That was in Green Bay?
I think it usually was. Yeah, we always have like these weird, depending on the schedule, like weird long walkthroughs, and then punt was usually what you do.
And then I gotta sit around the rest of practice and get better. Yeah. You know what I mean?
What do you do? Like, what do you do the rest of the time?
The first regime, I played running back. I played scout team quarterback. I mean, I did a lot of awesome shit. I was always doing something. Then Chuck and the boys came in and they took all rights away from me in practice. So I guess I worked. Like, I got better.
Rightfully so. You shouldn't be running scout team. Like, I know it when I was in Cincy, Nugent and Huber, they'd come down and they would like be motioning out, running routes like against us in a little 7-on-7 kind of before we went against the defense. And I would always like jam Nuge off the line, reroute him 12, 15 yards down the field. And the special teams coach Darren is one of the best in the business, and he would always get so pissed. And I'm like, Nuge, you're like in your 15th year. What are you doing? He's like, that's what I've been asking my whole time.
Yeah, I would never have lined. It was the 7-on-7 though. It was like scout team, look team, card, circle. This is your first look, second look, third look, and nobody was ever even close to me or whatever. You know what I mean? So that was very nice. But hey, I've said it before. That Saints week when we were going in to play fucking Jimmy Graham and Drew Brees, I threw for 8,000 yards that week. I mean, I knew it was not going to be pretty, and they did win by 70 points that weekend against us, and they could not stop in practice or in the game. Turns out Drew Brees and I had the same success rate that particular week, but it was a good time.
Mitt's dad was not letting you run any routes around there once he got into the building, huh?
I think Mitt's dad would have wanted me to, I think.
Really?
Throw, yeah. Like, he enjoyed, like,
loosen up a little.
I know, like, let's have some athletes here. Like,
yes.
Let's go ahead and do something. But I don't know. I mean, I probably got better when I wasn't doing all that stuff.
When you were kicking, when you were over working on onside kicks and catching jugs for your punt and for holding.
I probably was much better. So maybe I shouldn't have been. Got some good. I wish I could get that practice film. There was a couple running back plays that I made where I thought I saw the hole pretty good and like made a pretty good cut. And then like Gary Brackett would like thud me up or whatever. And I was like, did that feel at all like somebody that could maybe do this, D2 maybe?
Shit, if we get that tape from you slinging it during that Saints week, you might be playing quarterback in Dwayne Johnson's league this year. Ooh.
I'd rather be playing quarterback in Young Rock than XFL, just so everybody knows. Did you watch last night?
Such good.
No, I watched it right before I came on today.
Yeah. It's only 21 minutes.
Pretty good, huh?
I'm all in. I'm telling you that. I'm all in. Like, I was a bit skeptical at first. I'm in. This thing's going to run for like 10, 12 years.
I don't know how. They're going to have to keep creating stories, I guess, throughout his life. But he was sitting in his own library last night doing the whole thing, and Dwayne Johnson.
Sandy, remember his PR guy, Sandy, kept jumping in.
Oh, Sandy, shut the fuck
awesome
up.
Character.
Shut up, Sandy.
Great character. Love that guy.
So you actually did watch. How about the bus driver telling him to get off, pervert?
That was actually very good. I like that.
Let's go.
Nick, you hear this? Huh? Another pessimistic guy?
Yeah, AJ's never been disingenuous before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
I mean, the sarcasm is oozing out of his cigar at this point.
Not on this one. Not on this one, guys. Trust me.
Me neither. I love it. I'll watch Young Rock next week for sure.
I'm going to watch it again after the show today.
That's because you didn't really watch it.
Yeah, you're not watching it last night.
Zito did not watch it. Zito's the biggest fan. Did not watch it.
I knocked that.
Fake fan.
What do you mean?
I would like to say I sent like 3 tweets to The Rock, and he was in a retweeting spree, and I got nothing out of it. People were thinking I was pandering almost, trying to get a retweet.
Might be Nick's fault. Maybe he saw the show, Nick burying Little Rock all the time.
Sandy probably saw what I was saying, or what Nick was saying, and told The Rock that, hey, there's a negative publicity guy over there.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
You didn't watch the fucking show.
Your fanhood
I watched this morning, and I'm watching it again
now.
after the show. So.
By the way, hashtag Young Rock has an arm flexing at the end of it.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
I love that guy.
Great sitcom.
Hey, he doesn't paint his dad like in a great light, I feel like.
Yeah, it was interesting because the pilot episode, it was like because around the wrestling world, right? People, I think, knew the way The Rock's family, like, I guess The Rock's mom is actual heaven-sent angel, has come down, and in the show, it has been very much portrayed like that, like a badass, awesome lady or whatever. The dad, everybody, because whenever he passed away, right, a lot of people were just expecting The Rock to come out with a quote because his dad passed away. But I think a lot of people were like, I'm not 100% sure that way. And his message when his dad passed was very much like, he's my dad, which was kind of the message of the show last night or whatever. So I assume that's a pretty tough balance for The Rock not to bury his dad while doing a show that his dad is a pretty massive part of. It's probably a pretty fine balance, if I had to guess. Sandy didn't say fucking a thing, though, about his dad lying to him about wrestling in a flea market, though. I know that.
Yeah, where are they going to go with it? Like, how much is this going to take us all the way up through like current day Rock eventually?
2032, dude. That's when he's running for president. What are you talking about?
Is that what the show said?
Gonna show him playing with the Stampeders, AJ.
Do you even watch, dude?
Bro, wait till the Jim Ross $7 conversation, dude.
Yeah.
How many episodes did they shoot?
11.
Okay, so yeah, I'm curious to see what episode 3 is about. This thing, yeah, I can't wait, man. I wish they just put it out at one time so I could binge all 11 in one day.
Me too.
That'd be nice.
Zeta, you didn't even watch episode 2.
I did watch it. I knew about the Stones. You got Stones, kid.
You couldn't even take 20 minutes of your time to
21
sit down
minutes.
and watch.
Show some
Little Rock.
respect.
You watch it live so you can tweet along.
Yeah,
dude.
you would respect
I know.
it if
I
you
fell
watched
asleep.
It.
Medical condition. I just knocked out randomly now.
Got?
Yeah.
Seems like your heart just shuts off for a little bit.
3 bills.
I did hit 3 bills.
300 pounds Zito, by the way, AJ.
Z, do you really have gout, or is this something we're doing?
It's got a lot of.
No, this is something we're doing. I have it. Yeah.
So it's not a bit. Like gout is a real thing.
Gout's a real thing. Yeah.
We had a sitcom written where we were going to do a sitcom. We were going to do a sitcom here where the Got Awareness Foundation reaches out to Zito to be the spokesperson, because Got, much like the colonoscopy and everything, people think it's for older and everything like that. And, Zito might be the new thing. We had a whole sitcom where Fox was going to have to make a shot for a donation to the Gout Awareness Foundation. Yep. I mean, it was we had this whole thing mapped out. Yeah, we'll probably still be able to shoot it at some point, but yeah, he really does have gout.
You guys all go to a steakhouse?
Oh yeah, that's how it led off.
Yeah, I can't go.
Zito FaceTimed into us at a steakhouse.
Is that what brings it on? What can mess you up?
It's a king's disease. So you think of anything that kings used to eat. Meat, scrimp, I think is
so
big.
Basically, the Bears were winning like 5 in a row, and I was eating steaks every Monday, basically, and it was big steaks. They were like porterhouses. Like 80 pounds. Yeah. Got. That's how it happens.
And what is it? Is it in your legs? What is it?
Oh,
Feet.
yeah. I can
Mostly
barely walk.
feet.
Yeah.
It's like a buildup of
steak.
Calcium.
He can't really tell you what it is because he never had it.
Correct.
No, yeah, it was in my foot/knee.
What do you just get? You get
So you
cankles
not
for a
have
day
gout?
or something?
Oh, I had gout.
No,
Why are they
it's
saying
like-
you did not have gout?
Well,
Whoa.
Nick wanted me to like show my leg to him, and I was like, "No, dude, I'm not going to show you my leg."
I never want to see your disgusting
Yeah, you're like,
leg.
"Show me your leg, dude."
You're walking around
I wanna
scratching your
touch it. I was
belly
like,
all the
"No,
time.
no,
like,
no."
oh, look at me. I never want to see it. It's gross.
This office. I thought he legitimately had gout.
Oh,
Wrote
yeah.
an entire sitcom about the Gout Awareness
He
Foundation.
made up some story about how he went and talked to his childhood pediatrician,
Yeah,
Dr.
Dr. Mayo's real, dude.
Dr. Mayo is real. We have talked about this doctor before on this show, and people have said that Dr. Mayo is a real doctor.
Yeah, Rush Hospital.
He's a
Check him out.
pediatrician.
Yeah, he's still my doctor.
Pediatricians would be the last doctor to know about gout because gout is an older person
We
disease.
have talked about that, but he was very good in his field. They wanted him to be the kid doctor, though. But he was really good in the older doctor community.
He was very good in his field. Let's go to Justin in Hawaii. Aloha.
What's up, Pat, boys, AJ?
What's up, dude?
So, You guys got me?
Yeah. Justin, what's going on, man?
What's up? So we know that situations are situational. So I got a situation for you, Pat. Matrix, red pill, blue pill scenario. Blue pill, life goes on as usual, regular life, how it is now. Red pill, you go back in time with the same level of success you had in the NFL, but when you retire, you have a multi-year contract with the WWF in the Attitude Era. Do you give the show up, everything you've done since you retired now, to go back to be a talent during the Attitude Era?
Nope.
What?
I'm staying right now. I think.
What?
I believe I'm a big, hey, let's keep going the way we're going guy. I think everybody knows that, especially with the potential conversations I've been a part of here over the last couple of days. We are most certainly staying course here this way, but it would have been nice to be a part of that Attitude Era roster, though. That would have been a great time. I mean, I think I would have fit in very well. I do believe that. I don't know if I'm tough enough to do that every single night. I think I've said that on numerous occasions. Would have been fun, but I think I'm sticking the path here. You asked me when I'm 18, though, if I would like to go back and do some things, probably change. But at this point, I'm sticking the path, AJ.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. No matter what you said, it doesn't really matter. A hypothetical question that could never change things now. Like, you can't go back in time, so.
You believe you can go forward, though, right?
That's all there is, right?
No, I'm talking about.
Oh, time travel? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's real.
I think so, too. Yeah. You think they hop in a portal? Like, how do you think it works?
I don't know. I haven't really thought of the logistics yet.
I have, because Groening's a little bit of a bigger guy. Elon's a little bit thinner. So how does it work? Is it just like in that movie you guys like where the guy comes spinning the lasso thing and you jump in it and it's a different world? What's that guy?
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, him, the strange guy. He does that. Is that what it is? And do you set in the portal? Is it like,
I think it's a
what's
black
that
hole.
dog? What's that dog with that kid? They traveled in time?
Oh,
Lassie?
Back to the Future?
Who?
Lassie.
It's not Lassie.
Bismal.
Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
Get out of here.
is
What a
that?
pool.
Okay, Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Great movie.
Wasn't it Dr. Peabody?
Dr. Peabody, yeah.
No, that's the no.
Who's Dr. Peabody?
Nobody.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, what are we talking about,
knows
Tony?
something here. What do you got,
Let me
Tony?
make sure. Nope, wasn't Peabody.
Okay.
What?
You
I don't know.
read
Diggs seemed to be try to take that to a toxic level. This is actually a child. It's a dog and a kid. They travel through time, but they have to set the thing. Like I do. What do you have to get in one of them cars? Obviously, like old Michael J. I wonder how they do it, or they just sit there and go like, and they just go. I wonder how it happened. I would like to get to a point in my life where I either smoke or drink enough with somebody who has the ability and they just kind of spill the beans. You know what I mean? Like I befriend somebody so much and they're like, oh, we got to fucking go down here. This isn't a laundromat. Actually, you walk in here and you just kind of plug it in and you go into like an avatar thing and you just go like, how do you think it happens?
Do you think it makes me think of the question they used to ask politicians? If you could go back in time, would you kill baby Hitler? What do you say to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
How old is he?
I never knew. Was it like? I feel like they were trying to make that controversial. Like no matter what the person said.
Well, I think everybody knows that I'm a fuck those kids type guy, especially that particular kid. You know what I mean? That particular kid. Now, the issue is if you do that, then there isn't what happens,
Yeah. Is there a different Hitler whose name is not Adolf?
Yeah, Mussolini probably gets a lot more. Exactly. You know what I mean? And then, like, the whole thing.
It's that Ashton Kutcher movie, The Butterfly Effect.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so if you throw
That is a movie.
Yeah. If you throw a rock in a pond, it creates a ripple. That ripple's going to be the same thing, but at different spots.
Okay, got it. Because if you go back, you change one thing, that's inevitably going to change a bunch of things. Yes. That was in that other movie that you guys watched, the most recent one where they're trying to get the rocks. That's
Endgame. I don't think we know what the butterfly effect is.
Yeah.
Is that something different?
What is the butterfly?
It's a butterfly flapping its wings, not the rock in the pond.
I must have watched the wrong movie then.
No, you're thinking of the right movie, but the effect you talked about is the ripple effect, not
I
the
thought that's what
butterfly
they explained
effect.
in the movie, though.
Definitely an effect.
It is an effect, yes.
One of them.
They say a butterfly flapping its wings in
Creates
Africa
the
or something can create
ripple.
a hurricane. And, yeah.
In the water. There it is. I knew it was something to do with water.
Anyways, I think people can only go forward. I don't think they can come back. I don't think they can go back.
What a spin.
That's what I think.
Do you look like you look now? If let's say you go forward 200 years, is it just bam? You're wearing that shirt, those clothes, like, and you look like you?
Or am I like that goddamn that Christmas movie where you're just like just kind
Nick
of
Cage?
Who?
Nick Cage.
When Nicolas Cage was in a Christmas movie, or I think he went back in
Ghost
time.
of
or
Christmas
he had to view his
Past?
life.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Ghost of Christmas Past, I think, where you
Where you
just
stooge?
where you kind of just show up and you just kind of like see things. I don't know if you're actually, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Oh, you don't think you're really there?
I don't think so. I think you just watch.
Yeah, he's Ebenezer, right?
Yeah, I think so.
AJ just manifests everything he says.
You think you're there?
Where?
Like when we go, whenever we inevitably, Aaron's going to find, Aaron Rodgers, okay, is going to meet somebody. He probably already has, by the way. He probably already knows the answer. He's going to meet, he's our only real shot at ever finding out the actual truth to this thing. But whenever you meet, and you think you travel forward and you're there, because remember, there's those photos of those people that look completely out of place. There's like the sunglass guy. And now that guy went back, though, I guess. So that would kind of debunk my theory. But anyways, you think like you just go and show up and there's two of yous?
I think if I'm time traveling, I'm going forward. I'm going to be there. I don't want to just be observing I don't want to think how helpless you would feel just observing what your own.
But you know what's going on.
Well, then you write a sitcom, a cartoon, and just predict everything that happened. You bet on things that happened. You know things that are going to happen.
How long are you there though? How long do you stay down in the future?
Oh, what's on the clock?
Yeah.
How much time did you set it for?
Is there a clock? Is that how it works?
If you never,
Well, it depends.
We haven't figured out how it works yet, but hypothetically, with what we all think, you get to set the amount of time that you're there for.
If you want Santa Claus.
but like,
I want to live. I don't want to observe. If I go to the future, I want to take part.
Well, I'm not here to participate. I'm here to take over. Okay, so if I have to go and just watch and come back, that's cool with me too. Like I'm not a picky time traveler. Okay, if you guys just want me to go kind of do-si-do around and float around, whatever, I'll do it. I'm not like this guy. I'm not like his high maintenance time traveler.
don't forget when you time travel, an hour for wherever you try and time travel to is only like a second from where you're coming from.
Yeah. So you spend like a year there. It's only like a day.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
You learned that from the Matt McConaughey movie? Is that where you're going from?
No, just common sense, dude.
Yeah. From time travel studies.
Interstellar, great movie, by the way.
Love that.
It is.
So then, when you go back, did anything happen, or it's like nothing happened?
You can't.
Don't
You can't
change
go
it.
back. You said.
No,
Can't
you
go
have
back.
to go.
No,
back.
whenever you return.
Yeah. Do you remember? Do they erase your brain? Do they do the
remember.
whole
Well,
Men in
Groening
Black
does.
situation?
I mean, he remembers everything.
He's on Men in Black, dude.
You remember.
What about it?
Remember?
You just said erase your brain.
Yeah. What if you come back?
Please
you
don't.
go, but then every once in a while you get little glimpses in your brain where you're like, man, I had a dream that I was like 100 years
Deja
later."
vu.
So it's just deja vu.
That's what I was gonna say. I think dreaming is actually time travel. We just don't remember our dreams. But I think that Matt Groening has figured out a way to remember and to be present in his dreams, and he's time traveling via that.
Rogan had an entire thing about how the dream is a necessity to the real. I forget if he said it or had a guest on there. That whole thing.
So DMT?
He definitely talked about DMT. But no, the dreaming thing. It was the dreaming. It was the dreaming.
And that's why I think us casuals have deja vu every once in a while, because like it definitely happened. It's like, whoa, I've been here before, and it all happened in your dream. That's my
shit.
Or Foxy, it happened. This is just a show, and you've had many different lives, and you know.
Yeah, this all could be fake.
There is a thing, I think it's called The Brain Explained, and they go into how dreams and
Brain
deja
spinning.
vu and how that all works.
Yeah, but how do they know?
right.
Yeah.
How do they know?
Studies the brain.
It all goes back to the denominator.
How do they know?
Or we're all on the Truman Show, and actually people are just watching us, and we have no idea.
Galactic Federation.
Well, in parallel universe potentially.
Yeah.
Simulation theory. Someone's just controlling everything.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to whoever's controlling me. I appreciate what you've done.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple fucked up nights, but I appreciate what you got me.
Overall, pretty good job.
Shout out.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you go from a high level view at it, pretty good job at the game.
Yeah.
Maybe
Shout out to that
Ninja.
guy.
Ninja might be running me on the like the he's the good gamer, right?
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
Ooh.
Wow. See?
He's in a Fallout. It's fine.
Dr. Disrespected.
Yeah, he's back in.
Is he a good gamer?
Yeah, he's a good gamer. Entertainer.
I need whoever's the good gamer is potentially running me. I appreciate what they've done for me. Now, not as good as Aaron's or AJ's or Elon's. Well,
Elon has his, yeah.
Elon might be the one running everybody.
Yeah. It's all sim.
By the way, he's back on Dogecoin, so
Obviously. We all knew it was going to happen.
Bitcoin.
Hey, why do people like Gene Simmons feel like they need to tell people to buy Bitcoin?
Because he's probably highly invested, and then the price will go up, and then he'll make
Yeah,
money.
this is classic. We learned this whenever the whole AMC GameStop thing was happening. We learned about how these stock markets have worked. These companies would short these companies. Then they would send representatives on to CNBC, talk shit about the company. Company would drop. They'd sell out, put that on repeat. That's just kind of like how the stock. So I would assume the same thing can happen with Bitcoin or Top Shot, for instance. Like, hey, like maybe go and get in on those Top Shots. You know what I mean? Then we would be doing what they're doing because those are things we have invested in over here. You know what I mean?
I guess. I just feel like a lot of people were giving their opinion on Bitcoin and still continue to do that. I'm wondering why it matters.
Did you watch the documentary?
Yeah, I've told you a million times. I've listened to guys explain. I still have a hard time figuring it out.
Well, what you need to know is when Elon has intergalactic travel, the only currency that will be accepted is either the Dogecoin or the Bitcoin is what everybody's expecting. The internet has already been created from the moon, so you will be able to have the internet. That is how you will pay, by the way.
Yeah, I can do that. That's fine. I mean, I don't want to convert everything to Bitcoin that I have, but I can have some.
I laid out a contract offer from somebody, how I'd like to see it look. Got 20% in Bitcoin coming.
Ooh, it's genius. That guy, the tackle, who accepted who accepted some of his contract in Bitcoin, he's made like $10 more million because of it.
Wow. Now, will we ever see that money? Who knows?
Yes, exactly. You could say you've made. It's like if Connor wins $5,000 in his FanDuel account. Are you cashing that out, Connor?
No, because it never happened. But I mean, I would maybe.
That thing's getting to zero quicker than it's getting to 5,000.
First
What if you just, Connor, cash out your winnings and then play, or cash out what you put in and play with your winnings?
It's called gambling, AJ.
No,
gamble your
no,
winnings.
no, I will not say that. Okay, so I am a person that has the ability that if I win in a casino, I will leave. Like, hey, if we're planning on being here for 3-4 hours, but I just won 1,000, 2,000 here in the first 5 minutes, I'm okay watching everybody else do their thing. You have to have the ability to win. It's not just, you have to have the ability to be okay with beating somebody, even if you think in the urge is that it could be bigger and bigger and bigger. Inevitably, we do need to get that inside of you, that if you win, you need to at least accept your winnings and like enjoy them for a little bit.
That is the toughest part about being a born loser. But the only time that I have left a casino with money was when I was with you, because you're like, hey, it's time to get out.
It's time to get out.
It's about, the tide's about to turn. We got to leave.
We won. Maybe we can win a little bit more, but it seems like we're probably, that has been a pretty big asset that I've had over my years with casinos, is the ability to be like, I won. I'm going to get out of here. Not easy to do. Tough to do, especially when intoxicated. Very difficult to do.
Near impossible.
When there's nothing else to do.
Impossible.
In the
That's
town.
the thing. What else do you do? Like, if you, let's say you plan on going and playing blackjack and you win a bunch of money in the first 40 minutes, you're like, hey, we should probably roll. I'm like, okay, now what? It's 8:45. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I normally just go straight to the bar, tell the boys, say, I'll see you on the other side, and just start erasing drinks. But if you're in a place where the casino is the only thing to do, which there are numerous casinos that I've been where they are the only thing to do, that is a little bit difficult. That is a little bit difficult to be like, I'm getting out of here. No, you're not. We're going to Wendy's, dude? No, you're fucking coming right back in here, and you're giving us all this money before you get out of here. Like, you're right, because I guess I could just go sit in my room and stare at a fucking HD TV or standard def television, I guess, in this particular town.
End up at IHOP at 4 a.m.
Yeah. Hey, we won that night, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
We did win that night. You know who else won? The waiter that night. You remember that dude?
Oh, Legend. Hardest working man of all time. Shane.
Yep. Only guy that was working in this IHOP at 4 a.m. We walked in with a group of 10 of us, I think, 12 of us maybe. Yeah. We weren't the only people there. The other servers left. They quit on him. And the chefs, the cooks, quit on him. So Shane was like, hey, I'm gonna try. Okay, but I'm the only one. So we had to get our own drinks, I think. We had to get our own drinks. Yeah. Shane went back there, cooked our food. He delivered it to us, the whole thing about 4 a.m. He got a massive tip. Good for Shane doing that whole thing, but
We won big that night, and it was a long evening. But the Pittsburgh casino will take every fucking dollar from you. That is what they do.
Hey, how about in that Tiger doc, the National Enquirer, whoever went and picked up the used tampon from the parking lot.
Scooped it up just in case.
That's a journalist.
How did that just come up in your head?
You've been sitting on that for 2 hours, AJ?
No, I just thought of it.
It's very true. It did happen. They kept it in.
It's in the doc.
Yeah.
Oh, you watch that, Zito?
I did watch the doc, yes.
Oh, that's interesting. Because normally you say you like things, you just don't watch them. You just make it up like Young
No,
Rock.
I love Young Rock. You know that. I've
You
been
literally
defending it
left
since
me
the
on an
beginning.
island as the only person in the office that watched Young Rock last night, and you and me were on a team.
Trust me, if I didn't have narcolepsy, I would have watched it.
So I like that the comment section told you that you
Yes. Shout out Mike, I think.
Yeah.
I think what it was called.
I saw that. Yeah. I saw that. I appreciate it. Shout out to the comment section. All right, let's get out of here. Hammer Downs at what time?
3:50.
Okay, sounds good.
3:45.
Going to be some locks. I believe Gumpy's going to give out some real heaters.
Oh, wow.
Go, Gump.
Got to. It's been a tough week, my friend.
Oh, you're ice cold.
Oh, yeah.
This guy stinks. Is that what people are saying?
I've got to keep betting. I got 8 more college basketball games tonight. I ain't going to stop.
All right. AJ, we'll see you tomorrow. We got a massive show tomorrow.
Yeah.
Huge.
Can't wait.
It'd be cool if something popped off, though, like news-wise.
Just a trade. Just one
Something
more
will.
trade.
Just something.
Something's going to happen. Drew Brees has to make a decision one way or the other.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen.
Maybe ride off into the sunset while you still can, Drew. Maybe.
His passer rating in his last game was lower than if he was to take the ball and throw it into the ground every time.
Insane.
How's that possible?
I don't know what a passer rating is. I actually said that in the MVP speech for Aaron Rodgers.
I guess
He
'cause
now has the 2 highest passer ratings in the NFL history.
Because he threw 3 picks, I guess.
None of us know what that means, but he has the 2 highest or whatever. Yeah, he can't throw 3 picks. Turnovers are a big deal. The ball, dude. The ball. All right, I'm out of here. DJ's on from Indianapolis. Is this Dewey?
Oh.
Tomas? The Rock? Dwayne?
Oh.
Tomas. Why was he calling himself Tomas, by the way? I don't think I fully understood.
Mysterious.
Trying to be fancy.
Yeah.
Dwayne's pretty fancy.
DJ, what do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about Pittsburgh in the office, man. I really think they need to just go ahead and draft another future Hall of Famer for the first round like they did with the
That's easy to do.
Jerome Bettis.
Easy to find.
Pick up Naheem Hines from
Miami's tried for 25 years.
Amen, DJ.
They said to draft. He said to draft Jerome Bettis in the first round, which did not happen. They got him from the Rams.
He's traded, though. He was Notre Dame
And
first
pick
round.
up Naeem Hines from Alabama. He's on. I believe he's on the Colts.
He's not from Alabama, though. He went to
No,
North Carolina
I believe
State.
he was referring to Nashi Harris from Alabama.
I mean, if you guys don't draft Najee, what are you doing?
I don't know if Najee's going to be around in the 20s, boys.
Yeah, he's a running back.
He's going to run a 4.2. He said, just watch the show. Watch the show, he said at 2:30.
Taking over.
Does he go before, what's his name?
Etienne?
Etienne?
He wasn't Dirk Walker over Etienne, did he?
Well,
I have no idea.
two running backs go in the first round. Allaire was the first one this year, right? Last pick of the first.
32.
That would be interesting to see. That is interesting. We'll keep up with that, obviously. That's what we do here. Happy birthday, Bob Sanders.
Yeah,
Happy birthday, Bob.
Happy birthday, Bob.
Talked about him yesterday. He took another trip around the sun. What a legend of a man. Happy birthday, Corey Graves.
Hey!
Friend of the show, Corey
birthday,
Graves.
Corey?
It is his birthday. Coolest looking dude on earth.
He's probably got a sweet turtleneck on right now.
With a little bit down so you can see all his neck tats.
Yeah, he should get a face tat today for his birthday.
You know, he's handsome enough where he should get maybe just a birthday cake right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Oh, speaking of face tats, I was snooping around after the Penguins beat the shit out of the Capitals and West Virginia beat the shit out of TCU and Young Rock was done. And I'm the only one in this office that watched it at the time.
I was sleeping.
I was snooping around old Xfinity, I think, Comcast I have.
Yeah.
There was Timbaland Tuesdays on one of these channels.
Ooh.
I was like, oh, is this all throwback Timbo music videos? Here we go. I click on it. Yeah, I just watched Kodak Black's new music video he recorded.
Old Bill?
I think it's called Hit something. You get hit or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what. They don't make music videos like they used to anymore. I mean, it is a much different vibe out there. But Kodak Black was vibing. I mean, they stopped traffic to shoot that music video. And they said, you get hit. You get hit, you won't go around. We're directing traffic around here. And it was absolute heater. I just want to let everybody know that I know about the new school stuff.
Oh yeah, him and his lady, they both just got face tats. Face tats are in right now.
Yeah.
Are you saying the production value was not as high as they were before?
Well, the song was so good, you don't really need.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Don't matter.
The song was so good. No Lamar Jackson sighting. I thought, I literally stuck around to watch it because I thought Lamar Jackson would make appearance in the video. No Lamar Jackson sighting.
That's all right.
Mate, what's the song called? It's called You Can Get Hit with It.
Yeah, best show.
Hit it. What is the name of that song? What's he saying?
There's two songs I see here. It's Last Day In and Every Ball Main.
No, it's Hit. Something with Hit.
No. Pippin' ain't easy.
Kodak Black. Come back to Earth, Mitt.
I don't know anything about Timberland. What are you talking about?
Kodak Black.
Oh no, I don't really listen to Kodak.
Was it Little Yachty featuring Kodak Black?
Hit bout it.
Hit bout it. You can get hit bout it, which means I think he means kill.
Also, Kodak Black also has a song called "Make a Hit."
So
it was
hit bout it.
Yachty.
Yeah, you can get hit bout it. He was talking to the traffic that was beeping at them while they're shooting the video. The video is called "Hit Bout It," and he's actually telling the car at the end, like, "Hey, this is something you can get hit by." You know what I mean?
I
Like,
might shoot you if you
yeah,
keep
you
beeping
can
at
get
me.
hit by it. You know what I mean? Hit by it.
I'm sold. I got to go check this out.
Who was the last good music video? 50 Cent?
Have you seen
Eminem?
Tekashi 6ix9ine's new one?
Not a lot of people have that guy. Tekashi 6ix9ine. I tell her don't deep down.
Oh, you dumb?
What a guy, dude. I watched a documentary on him on Hulu.
Oh,
How's
yeah.
that?
Daniel Hernandez.
Big dude.
Very interesting. He used to walk around with shirts that just said like smut on them 69.
Yeah.
And like he just he's an incredible businessman, that guy. You watch that video, you're like, oh, this is an incredible business guy. Humble beginnings, obviously. Incredible business guy. Now he has made an enemy out of every human at this particular point, but he's always had the hustler's ambition. He used to work at a what are those things called in New York? Bodega. They called him Bodega something was like his name growing up. He worked at that.
Oh, wow.
The director of that docuseries recently came out and said, "Yeah, I don't think people understand how terrible of a guy Tekashi 6ix9ine
Oh, really?
is."
I think people do, though. Like, I think
that is I think what the documentary's all about.
That is an interesting thing. The documentary is not about that, really. The documentary is a little bit different about the story, but
more about him.
I don't think I've ever seen somebody on the internet just be so widely hated or whatever, you know. And then he got into it with Meek, right outside that club.
Yeah.
And everybody was like kind of on Meek's side, which, you know, last beef Meek had was with Drake, and everybody was on Drake's side. Then he goes to jail, comes out, they win a Super Bowl, this whole thing. But then Meek, you know, with Mrs. Bryant, there's an entire situation with, so he ended up being, so they both ended up being hated out of that situation somehow. It just only happened 2 weeks ago.
They're saying he goes after other rappers that have recently had charges because he knows that he can't fight them or they'll go back to jail.
Oh, wow.
So he's a businessman. This guy is a business troll.
Calculated.
Business decision, just like they talk about corners making business decisions and not taking on big backs. That's exactly what he's doing.
Baba Yaga.
Bro, Daniel Hernandez, Tekashi 6ix9ine.
We gotta get him on the show.
I don't think so.
No.
Why?
No.
You know, I'll watch from afar on the internet. If he makes his way into my timeline, you know. By the way, he made his way into my timeline because Meek Mill made his way into my timeline again from the Kobe Bryant situation.
Yeah.
And then it kind of led me down a whole thing. I'm like, oh, Meek and Tekashi 6ix9ine are getting into it outside of a club. Meek said, no, he's trying to set me up with the cops, blah, blah, blah. He's trying to do the whole thing. Seems like everybody hates that guy somehow. That's a feat, you know, if you get everybody to hate you, I guess.
I mean, Tekashi did play wingback in high school, I think, so we could talk to him about, you know, running the rock down the middle of the field.
Yeah, maybe you guys have him on the pod.
That's not bad, yeah. Sure.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. I think if you're associated with Tekashi 6ix9ine at this point, it's not a great thing.
Pretty bad
Terrible.
look. Yeah.
He's all right though. Everyone acted like someone would shoot him right away. Like he's fine.
Still living.
I heard people stop doing that act because of him because they don't want to be associated with him.
What's that?
6ix9ine.
Oh, gee.
Babe, sorry, I'm out. He's a rat. I can't.
Can't do it, sweetie.
Can't do it. Sorry, babe.
He's 69. All of a sudden, I'm getting called a snitch. You know, we can't be doing that.
Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb? Huh? That's how I was introduced to the guy. That song.
Oh shit!
You can't play it; it will get taken down. Yeah. But man, he is an interesting guy.
Diggs, how long were you waiting for that?
I don't know. It just pops in my head sometimes.
Diggs is an AK over there, dude. That thing's in and out. You know what I mean?
good.
You were
Maybe.
sitting on that fucking tampon thing for a couple hours.
Jeez.
As soon as that tampon thing would have entered Diggs' mind, it would have came out, by the way. So that's the difference between different trains of thoughts. You know what I mean?
Oh, it just seemed kind of gross. They said, "Oh, this tampon was removed and discarded out the window," and the reporter made sure to gather it and take it with him.
That's a job.
That's business, baby.
Sometimes you gotta get your hands dirty.
Investigative journalism.
Not everyone's a first-round pick, AJ. Some of us got to work out here in these streets.
What if they said?
Show. See you guys later. See you tomorrow, AJ.
What if they told you, Pat, that the guy, his hands were full of groceries, so he picked it up with his mouth?
Jesus.
That would be, see you guys later. Fire Fest water situation. For that, you get paid a lot more.
See you, AJ. Thanks for making this a tampon show.
Well, it's better than a cuck show, huh?
Now I'm trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? See you tomorrow, dude.